the National Football League. Today, from Soldier Field in Chicago, it's the New England Patriots versus the Chicago Bears. Brought to you by Mazda and the full line of sophisticated Mazda products. By Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light. It doesn't get any better than this. And by Radio Shack, a division of Tandy Corporation.
The New England Patriots have come to Chicago, led by their young quarterback, Tony Eason from Illinois, a rising star, but today he has to contend with the overpowering Chicago Bear defense. At Soldier Field, home of the Bears, number 34, Walter Payton, is still the cornerstone of the franchise as game after game. He adds it to his all-time rushing record with power and quickness, running for what again is one of the NFL's best teams. Good afternoon, everyone. On a beautiful day in Chicago, Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. The New England Patriots have a tough assignment today. They go against a Chicago Bear defense that is best described as fierce. Trump, before the season started, Mike Ditka said to those defensive players, I want you guys to put a chip on your shoulder in July and don't take it off till January.
Well, the Bears have had a chip on their defensive shoulder for about the last 50 years. But in 1984, they terrorized the NFL with a league record 72 sacks. Now, the brainchild of Buddy Ryan, this defense is called a 46. On this play against the Tampa Bay Bucks, 9 guys within 3 yards of the line of scrimmage. And this is not an isolated situation. The New England Patriots will have to face this about 80% of the time today. And, of course, the Patriots last year gave up 66 sacks. And the offensive line is hurt. This is an awesome responsibility and challenge for the New England Patriots offense.
But the Patriots do some sacking also. Ask Lynn Dickey, the Packers, they got him 7 times last Sunday. Excellent conditions to play football. Temperatures, you see, 63 degrees on the shores of Lake Michigan in this stadium that was originally built in 1919. The site of some great events. The Dempsey-Tunney fight that hit a $2.5 million gross in 1927. Tony Franklin is ready to kick the ball off now for the Patriots in their red and white. The Bears have people back. Sprinter Ken Taylor is back. Here's a spinning kickoff. It's Dennis Gentry at the 7. Gentry, with good blocking from his special teams, gets the ball out close to the 30 at 23-yard gain. McMahon at quarterback, he's a great one when he's healthy, and he is now. Peyton might be the greatest ever. Matsui blocks for him, but he can do it all also. Catch it and run it. Willie Golf's a burner at wide receiver. As yet promise unfulfilled. McKinnon sure-handed. Emery Moorhead, an underrated tight end. The offensive line, Jim Covert, is now emerging as one of the best offensive tackles in the entire league. They think he's all pro. He's the key to the offensive line, and Bort's a free agent next to him, an excellent blocker also. They'll go to that side a lot. So McMahon brings the Bears out first and 10 at their 30. Opening play from scrimmage at Soldier Field in Chicago. Tippett left early, and a marker goes down as McMahon might have a free play. See what the call is. Andre Tippett, the truly excellent outside linebacker for New England, jumped offside, but we'll see if he was pulled off.
Bears tried to start with a screen to Walter Payton. Offsides defense, Andre Tippett. New England Patriots going to start with a blitz, which is what they do very well.
The Patriots starting a rookie, Garin Barris, they're very high on. He's from Stanford, a good pass rusher. Ken Sims might have had his best game as a Patriot last week in the win over Green Bay. Outside backers, Tippett and Blackman each had 3 sacks each against the Packers. Good linebacking for New England. Secondary, little suspect in certain areas, but overall pretty sound. Claiborne's the best player back there. Roland James also a good one at safety. So now on the 5-yard assessment against the Patriots, it's first down and 5 for the Chicago Bears. 35-yard line of Chicago.
372.
Second back, Walter Payton. First down Bears as he's to the 42-yard line. At 120 yards last Sunday against Tampa Bay, now in his 11th year. Walter said he had Trump that 10,000-yard checkup on his knees, and he's ready to go.
Yeah, Mike Ditka has kind of promised Walter Payton that they would de-emphasize him a little bit in the offense this year, try to throw it around with Jim McMahon. So all Walter Payton does is account for about 150 yards last week against the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Every game, he extends his own rushing record, his all-time record. He's rushed for over 1,340 yards now in his career. First and 10 Bears. Running hard and running well is fullback Matt Suey. A Penn Stater. He thunders up for a gain of 8. And it's 2nd and 2.
Notice that Walter Payton went to the bench. Doesn't appear to be an injury of any sort. This young man, Matt Suey, doesn't get an awful lot of press, but he's one of the reasons that Walter Payton has been such an excellent running back. He's in that lead blocking spot, and he can clear a hole for you.
Fred Marion, the free safety, made the hit, number 31. He's playing in place of Rick Sanford, longtime safety for the Patriots, who was cut this season. 2nd and 2, a quick throw and a completion for a first down, and McKinnon is inside the 35-yard line. Dennis McKinnon sprinting off the left flank and a perfect lead from McMahon, a 16-yard gain for the Bears.
Don, Patriots show blitz on almost every single play. The outside backers, Blackman and Tippett, that's where the New England Patriots get most of their pass rush. A quick three-step drop by Jim McMahon. No real pattern run by McKinnon, just up underneath the linebacker coverage, first down.
Bears put a lot of pressure on a defense, just like they put a lot of pressure on an offense with their defense. McMahon is an excellent player. He's 13 and 4 as a winning pitcher in the last 17 games. Payton back in, and he gets the football. Down to the 32-yard line. We're told that Walter Payton got a finger in the eye earlier, but he's all right. Can't hurt that man with an axe.
One of the most durable running backs I think the NFL has ever had. Steve Nelson, the veteran, on the tackle. And Walter Payton, with all the yards he's gained, you realize that he has never had a Pro Bowl offensive lineman in front of him. Jim Brown was afforded that great luxury. He's got offensive linemen in the Hall of Fame.
Right, a lot of them. The junior Bear, Mike Ditka, getting the record. Bears make it happen fast. A 32-yard play.
Fred Marion of the New England Patriots had the coverage. A half roll by Jim McMahon. This is bad news for the Patriots already. Last week in their victory over the Green Bay Packers, they had an outstanding performance, allowing just 146 passing yards. This drive by the Chicago Bears, very easy.
Now Butler's on the field to try to point after, and the rookie from Georgia gets it through. And so with 11:57 to play in the first quarter, the Bears go in front 7-0.
McKinnon scored the touchdown. He's now got on the day 2 catches for 48 yards from the end zone behind the defense. You see Suey out there leading, trying to protect McMahon against the pass rush. This is well thrown. Marion on the coverage. Good catch by McKinnon. 5 plays, 69 yards, just 3 minutes and 3 seconds.
Laser precision, a great play. It looked like the coverage was good, and McMahon with that touch puts it right on McKinnon's fingertips, and so the Bears come out quickly and take a 7-0 lead. Butler hits a high kickoff. This is Stefan Starring. Looks for blockers, and he does well, getting across and out close to the 29-yard line. Tony Eason, number 11 from Illinois, where he set 7 NCAA passing records, comes in to quarterback the Pates. Tim Reitman is a tight end, along with Derek Ramsey. They're going to start with 2 of them. Derwin Williams is starting as a wide receiver. They like him after the 5 catches against Green Bay. Greg James had a great game running the ball. Patriots have a lot of offense, but their offensive line right now is banged up. The great one, John Hanna, isn't in the game, as he wasn't last week. Eason on first down, stands in and throws a strike out to the 47. Got the big league arm, does Tony Eason. That was good for 17 yards as he gunned the ball out on the flank, and coming down with it was Derwin Williams, the player they like so much.
Don, we mentioned that fearsome Chicago defense, but one of the things you can do against Chicago is throw the ball if you can avoid the pass rush. Eason there, a short 3-step drop. Good quick pattern run by Williams. There's the inside of that Chicago defense.
So the Patriots get a first down at the 47. Bears lead in the first quarter 7-0. Second back through was Tony Collins, and he runs the ball for very little as the Bears shut it down. Singletary, number 50, the middle linebacker, got him. He was the NFC Defensive Player of the Year. Otis Wilson and Marshall on the outside are almost as good. That's a real trio. The secondary, corners, Richardson and Frazier had some trouble covering last week against Tampa Bay. Then Frazier came up with a big play in the third quarter, ran one back for a touchdown and interception. It turned the game.
Chicago Bears just inserted their refrigerator.
One of my favorite guys.
William Perry, 13.5 pounds at birth, considerably more now.
Big William never lifted a weight or watched his own. Here is Tony Eason dropping to throw in the flat. He skips it.
Whoa.
Going for Craig James, and Tony Eason will get up off the bottom.
There's a lot of things about William Perry been printed here in the paper in Chicago. Buddy Ryan called him a wasted draft choice, but watch the sheer power of William Perry at somewhere around 330 pounds. My goodness gracious.
Weight unknown.
Yeah, he makes everybody out there look small, doesn't he? He's got a brother who weighs like 220, and they ask him, what'd you eat? And he said, we ate whatever William left us.
From the shotgun on 3rd and 8. And Eason does very well just to go down before he gets hit with a head-on shot from Singletary. The middle linebacker from Baylor coming untouched up the middle.
72 sacks last season by this defense, and almost 30% of them on players untouched. There's another one. Mike Singletary. Recognition by the New England Patriot offensive line is vitally important. And that time, you just can't turn anybody loose on a quarterback like that, but it happens so often against this defense.
Singletary, they show so many schemes rushing the passer under defensive coordinator Buddy Ryan. As we saw that time, there was nobody there between the quarterback and the middle linebacker who was a-coming. Here's the punt now by Camarillo. Hits a spiral downfield. It'll be taken at the 15-yard line. Ken Taylor runs it back. He's up to the 26. And so there, the Bears in the lead 7-0 with 9:42 to play in the first quarter. Go back on offense for a second time. First scoring strike was a 35-yard touchdown pass play to Dennis McKinnon. We'll be back right after this. Back at Soldier Field on a beautiful day in Chicago. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. Bears lead in the first quarter 7-0. Now they have their second possession, going 1st and 10 from their 26-yard line. Carry straight ahead by Walter Payton is out to the 32-yard line. The score is starting to come in. Ken Anderson has thrown a touchdown pass to Stanford Jennings, and the Bengals lead the favored St. Louis Cardinals at St. Louis 7-0 in the first quarter. Eddie Murray kicked a field goal for the Lions, and they lead the Cowboys 3-0 at Pontiac, Michigan. Dallas is a tough customer, though.
Yeah, especially against Washington. They ate them up on Monday night, didn't they?
44-14. Now it's second down and about 4 for Chicago. Suey, good execution by the Bears, and Matt Suey runs ahead to the 44-yard line. A gain on the play of 12 yards. Ronnie Lippett, one of the corners, knocked him down for the Patriots.
When you have a foe in the line of scrimmage like this, credit must go to the offensive line of the Chicago Bears. On this particular play, watch Andre Tippett. He's the weak side linebacker here. Pursues down the line, and then Keith Van Horn, 78, doing his job. Realizing the value of Tippett to that defense, just gives him a shove, and there's a nice pickup by Matt Suey, who now has 2 carries for 21 yards.
And the Bears have a first down at their 44. McMahon sprinting away from the rush, unloads. Walter takes it and goes out of bounds. There was little or no gain.
Darren Barris unloaded on Jim McMahon, too.
I always liked from Matt Suey's assessment. He said the best backfield in the NFL, best backfield combination is Walter Payton and anyone else. Washington, not in good humor after that loss at Dallas, has just gone in front. Theismann throwing to Calvin Muhammad for a 17-yard touchdown.
Here's the old and the new for the New England Patriots. Steve Grogan for years, the quarterback. Now he's kind of the professor for Tony Eason, the young man out of Illinois.
Second down and 9, Chicago from the Bears 45. The Bears lead 7-0 in the first quarter. McMahon sends in, and will he go? Takes the defense down and out. They've been tough on Willie, and the boos start to cascade down. He can run faster than anybody out there, but he's got what, 9.1 speed and 12-second hands so far.
Whoa. Let's watch Andre Tippett again. One of the things the New England Patriots must do is get Tippett free on the quarterback. Watch the little game he runs with Ken Sims. Comes inside, cut by Matt Suey. So far, the Chicago Bears have neutralized Andre Tippett. That ball should have been caught, too.
But Galt will be free deep. You can bank on it. There's nobody out there that can run with him. About two people in the world as fast, and neither of them play for New England. Offside, the Patriots could have left early again. Here's a high ball and a stick put on McKinnon as the ball flies overhead.
And that will be on Tippett. That's the second time they've caught him offsides. Obviously, McMahon varying his snap count. And that time, the New England Patriots had 9 guys at the line of scrimmage. Taking a page from the Chicago Bears defensive thinking.
Offside, 56 defense, third down.
So Tippett misfiring early in the game, but before it's over, he will have the quarterback. He's one of the great players in the league right now.
Yeah, and I think Jim McMahon has to be the only player in the history of the game to go out with a lacerated kidney last year. Missed the last half of the season on a hit against the Los Angeles Raiders. Now he's wearing a flak jacket. And the Bears have won 14 of 17 games he started. They want to keep him healthy.
Right now, McMahon directs with a 3rd and 4 coming up from midfield. Bears lead 7-0 first quarter. Payton in trouble and is knocked down for a loss. So Chicago will have to punt the ball to the Patriots with 8 minutes to play and the clock running in the first quarter. Maury Buford is in to punt now for Chicago, newly acquired. Came in and replaced the incumbent David Finzer, who was here last season. Finzer's seen enough of Maury Buford when he was trying out for San Diego. Buford beat him out. Then he comes to Chicago, does the kicking, and Buford comes here. Bob Thomas, the longtime Bear kicker, place kicker, leading scorer in Chicago history, is now San Diego Charger. He signed as a free agent with them last week. Irving Fryer is back, a game breaker from Nebraska. High punt, knocked downfield as they angle for the corner. It skips in, and so the ball will come out to the Patriot 20. After a 51-yard punt, New England gets the ball trailing 7-0 with 7:17 to play in the first quarter. We'll be back to Soldier Field in Chicago after this.
On the field. First and 10 for New England.
Soldier Field in Chicago is sold out as the Bears look to go up 2 games to none in the standings. But right now, New England trailing 7-0, goes to the offense on first down. Eason throwing on the outlet to Derek Ramsey. Now while we have a moment, let's go to Bob Costas.
Eason to Ramsey.
All right, Don, at RFK Stadium, the Redskins take a 7-0 lead on the Oilers' 17-yarder Theismann to Calvin Muhammad. A reminder, be with us at halftime. NFL 85 will have Kellen Winslow and William Andrews again, this time responding to Gale Sayers' assertion that modern players don't bounce back as quickly from injuries.
Be interesting to hear. 6:40 to play, first quarter. Patriots got 4 on that pass play. Eason's very quick, very sure of foot. Here's a long ball, and there's nobody within 30 or 40 yards of it. He had Jones running an out pattern, Cedric Jones. Detroit with a surprise over the favored Cowboys, now extending the lead. The Lions up 10-0. Eric Hipple threw a 21-yard touchdown pass to Jeff Chadwick. The Eagles owner said they were going to the playoffs, but so far it doesn't look that way. They've not scored through the first 5 quarters of the season.
Well, they may go to the playoffs, but it looks like they may have to buy a ticket.
Right. They're starting a rookie today, Randall Cunningham. Jaworski's on the pine.
Yeah, Jaws was not too pleased with that choice either.
Might be in there by halftime. Third down and a long 5 now as they go from the shotgun. Patriots give Eason time. He throws a pass that's dropped. Derwin Williams might have been looking for the sideline. He could have had that ball easily, though.
Well, the encouraging thing for the New England Patriots, though, Don, is that they have had receivers open.
Number 25.
And the offensive line has protected Eason enough for him to throw the ball down the field. Really haven't seen the Bears in just one time in that all-out 46 pass rush. And that time Mike Singletary got to him, but nevertheless, 4th down.
So Rich Camarillo, who was a Pro Bowl punter 2 years ago, had a lot of problems with injuries last year, is ready to kick it downfield to Ken Taylor. Big rush. Camarillo.
Whoa!
Lows. That's one of the all-time punts.
Look at this.
That's it goes into the end zone. Line of scrimmage. 75-yard punt.
It'll list, though, at a 55 because it went into the end zone, and he kicked it from his own 15-yard line. Rich Camarillo actually had that in the air 85 yards, but it's a 75-yard gross punt, 55 yards net because it went into the end zone.
Now the Bears go again, leading 7-0 first quarter. Home run ball, Willie Gault. Can't quite get to it, but he was open. McMahon knew he had 6 and he had the ball a little bit closer to Willie Gault.
Rod McSwain on the coverage.
Claude Reveiz, another in the line of United Nations kickers for the Dolphins, hit a field goal. Miami leads Indianapolis 3-0. Garo Yepremian, Uwe von Schaumann, and now Claude Reveiz. McMahon has thrown 5 times, has completed 3 for Coach Ditka and his Bears, 49 yards and the 1 touchdown and 32-yarder to Dennis McKinnon. It's 7-0 Chicago as the Bears load up receivers on the left side. That's McKinnon in motion. Patriots might have left early again as they go to Walter Payton on a draw up the middle, and he is across the 25.
No flag. Steve Nelson, the linebacker, was able to get back. The Bears are trying to balance their offense. Last week, they ran the ball 34 times, passed the ball 34 times, which is highly unusual. The Chicago Bears were the only team in the NFC last year to rush for more yards than they passed for.
Defense gets the big press with this Chicago team, as you know, Trump, but really the offense with McMahon at the helm could take them maybe all the way. They're that good with McMahon in there. Last year, they needed to get very little points to win because their defense was so good, but McMahon can get them a lot. They came back last week when they were outscored early. Here's a throw, and McKinnon shows his heart coming across the middle. The man who caught the touchdown ball takes a double hit. Rod McSwain got him hard, but McKinnon is across the 30. He has a first down for Chicago. Last year, the Chicago Bears won every game they played in the regular season when they allowed 14 or fewer points, and they lost every game they played in the regular season when they allowed more than 14 points.
How about this? In 11 of the 16 games that the Bears played last year, their defense allowed their opponents less than 300 total yards of offense.
Right now, their defense is looking on. Chicago's offense has had the ball most of the time, and Bears are leading 7-0. Payton out to the 35-yard line. One of the defensive coaches for the Patriots, Eddie Kaya, is telling us that not only the Bears come at you with that hard-nosed football, it's been a Chicago hallmark over the many decades, but also he says they have every gadget play known to man.
That's true. Notice an injury apparently for the New England Patriots. Rod McSwain playing cornerback, replacing Ronnie Lippett. He was getting his ankle taped on the sideline. And, of course, that leaves just one defensive back left for the already injured New England Patriots, and that's Jim Bowman for the 5th defensive back.
Swain is reversed. Dennis McKinnon. He eludes one tackler. Blockers there. Now the Patriots stump it.
Whoa! Andre Tippett.
Got a man throwing people down. Let's go to Bob Costas again.
Will Dins back to Cricky and Trumpy.
And the Skins apparently back on track after an embarrassment Monday night. What was it? It was Joe Theismann's birthday, and Dennis Thurman, one of the Dallas cornerbacks, said Joe was giving out the gifts on his birthday.
Yes, he was. The Dallas fans were singing happy birthday to him, too, with the score 44-14.
Threw 5 interceptions. Jim McMahon throws. He's high, and those Patriots will hit a receiver when he comes into their area.
McMahon to Brad Anderson.
Brad Anderson was the intended receiver, so the Bears have to punt it again. After that opening drive when they took it into the end zone, they almost did in this one. You recall that near completion to Gault. Once he gets it, he can put 6 in the book.
I was rather surprised at that reverse call by the Chicago Bears. Another odd call to make at that position on the field.
Maury Buford into punt again for Chicago. That's Irving Fryer back at his 20. 3:03 to play in the first quarter. A good punt by Buford. It can be very high. And Fryer is forced into a fair catch at his 26-yard line. 39-yard punt, but that's the net yardage also, as there's no return. So with 2:55 to play in the first quarter and the Bears in the lead 7-0, the Chicago defense comes out. The defense has been tough against some fine teams, two of the best in the West in the AFC.
Never lost to an AFC team here in Soldier Field, except for the Bengals, I believe, in overtime back in 1980. They like playing here at Soldier Field.
Bears have a string of 6 straight wins over AFC opponents here in Chicago. Eason stands in. What an arm he has. And Tony Eason fires out in the flank. Coming down with the ball and getting a first down on the play was Cedric Jones.
St. Louis ties the ball game up with Cincinnati. Neil Lomax, a 27-yard pass to Farrell. 7-7 now.
First and 10 for the Patriots. 37.
Eagles get on the board with a field goal. It's a 10-3 game. Veteran Stadium. First and 10 now for the Patriots, who trail late in the first quarter, 7-0. Here comes Jesse Craig James, and the Bears aren't going to give him a thing. They're going to give him about a 5-yard deficit. Dave Dorson starting at strong safety for the absent Todd Bell, a Pro Bowl strong safety who's holding out. Dorson's come on, though, third-year player from Notre Dame, and Singletary's always coming on.
Yeah, this guy showed up late. He was a holdout, too, but he is a human projectile. Taking on Pete Brock there. That guy works every single down. He's kind of the inspirational leader of that defense, too.
Going wide to the right now is Starring. Derwin Williams on the left flank on 2nd and 14 for New England. Four-man rush. Eason lets her rip. Out throws his receiver and the coverage. You know he can put it about as far as Camarillo can kick it.
Starring can run under most of them, too.
Incomplete. The coverage.
Last week in the opening game of the season for the Bear defense, they struggled somewhat, both offensively and defensively in the first half. But in the second half, they really got down on the Tampa Bay Bucks. They allowed only 95 total yards and 4 first downs in the second half. Pats have only 20 yards of offense so far today, Don.
Stanley Morgan, one of the great ones, is out in the flank now for the Patriots on the shotgun offense, 3rd and 14. Singletary. Singletary. He missed the interception, as you saw. Then he figured that maybe James got it, so he was going to pop him good.
Well, James did a good job, Don, in making contact with Singletary. Fumbling the ball a little bit there, wanted to make sure that he didn't catch it. James with a good reach. He sees the ball in a watch. He turns around, plays defender, make sure he can't go after it.
He saw the ball down. He just wanted to hit somebody anyway.
Yeah, well, you can't trust those linebackers.
This one's one of the great ones. 2 straight Pro Bowls. Leader of the defense, too. He tells people what to do out there.
Camarillo, 2 punts, a 60.5-yard average.
Bears almost had one player too many on the field. This time Camarillo hangs it high. Taylor comes over and then pops out of bounds at about the 32. Next Sunday, join NBC Sports for exciting football action as we continue our coverage of the 1985 football season. Most of you will see the Browns take on Tony Dorsett and the Dallas Cowboys. Plus other regional action. Check your local listings for the game and the time in your area. The action gets underway with NFL 85 and host Bob Costas. Your team plays here, so kick off next Sunday again with NBC Sports.
Down for the New England Patriots, Ronnie Lippett back in the ballgame. Apparently whatever injury he had was not serious.
In the lead with 2:21 to play in the quarter. Up the middle, a hard-charging fullback from Illinois, Kelvin Thomas, from the south side of Chicago at 245 pounds, getting a lot more playing time. Dennis Owens, a nose tackle, knocked him down along with Toby Williams for the Patriots.
Things have kind of slowed down here for the Chicago Bear offense. That opening drive, they had 69 yards, 5 plays, and 3:03. Now the Patriots defense is doing their job.
Raymond Berry on the sideline. He's much more active when he came in halfway through the season last year. He really left the offense and defense up to the assistants. This year he's the offensive coordinator.
Look at this formation.
2nd and 6. Peyton looks for room to go, and the Patriots doing a good job filling the gaps with the linebackers. Steve Nelson was in the play along with Ken Sims.
One of the things you always have to watch with the Chicago Bears is their big playability. Jimbo Covert over on that other side, going against Toby Williams, and it gets him on the ground. Board 62, the offensive guard, a converted defensive lineman in college, but the New England Patriots are doing a good job at the line of scrimmage.
Jimbo Covert, a great offensive tackle, only 25. He's the youngest captain in the NFL, playing left tackle for Chicago. Former number 1 out of Pittsburgh. 3rd down and a long 4 now for the Bears. Here comes the blitz. They pick it up. McMahon's going to run, but not far enough. He got to the 40, needed to get to the 42. So the Bears, after scoring on their first drive today, a 32-yard touchdown pass to Dennis McKinnon from McMahon, have now been stopped their last 3 drives.
Ken Sims and Don Blackman there to make the tackle.
They're going to keep the offense in on 4th and short.
They're finally going to punt it now.
Now they're coming out.
Yeah, it does appear. It's doing a good job defensively, but they've got to today because the New England offense is going to have problems throughout the day with that 46 defense and all the pass rush. New England Patriots defense have to play an excellent game today to keep the ball club in the game.
And again, Irving Fryer is back deep for New England, this time at his 15-yard line. Buford gets it off against a big rush. Fryer can go, but not here. A superb special teams play. Dennis Gentry, a running back, came down and, as you saw, got an ankle high. 38-yard punt, a 4-yard return. Had Gentry not made that play, Irving Fryer might still be running.
Patriots almost blocked that punt. Rod McSwain, a defensive back, was untouched and right in the face of the punter. That would have been a big play for the New England Patriots, one that you need to make in a game like this against a quality opponent. Chicago Bears did play in the NFC Championship game last year.
Coach Dick seems a little exercised with McMahon.
Yeah, he can dish out some exercise.
Here's a throw and a completion on the last play of the first quarter. Tony Collins coming out of the Patriot backfield. And that's the end of the first quarter with the score Chicago 7 and the Patriots nothing.
That's the end of the first quarter.
The Chicago Bears jumped off to that 7-0 lead. It looked like the Patriots were going to be in trouble, maybe in the midst of a blowout, Trump, but they've come right back with good defense.
Well, the pressure is on the offensive line of the New England Patriots to protect Easton. So far, they've done that. The pressure is also on the defense of the New England Patriots to at least make it tough for the Chicago Bears to score. And that first drive notwithstanding, they've done that pretty good, too. Look at the time of possession, though. 11-3. My goodness,
not going to get the end zone with -2 yards.
Yeah. Last week they rushed for 208 yards. So far the Chicago Bear defense is doing a pretty good job against New England.
Here's Eason standing in, gets some time, lofts it out, and Derek Ramsey comes down with the ball. Set a Patriot team record with 66 receptions last year. They're doing a good job, and the Bears have been coming with the 4-man rush. Patriot blocking has been excellent. They've really given Eason some time. It's when Singletary and Wilson start to come from the linebackers that he's pressured.
12 yards on the catch, and you're right. So far, they haven't really put those 8 or 9 guys up at the line of scrimmage, probably out of respect to Tony Eason's arm and the speed of the wide receivers of the New England Patriots. They got some burners on this team.
Patriots with about their best field position in the ball game so far, out to their 42. James running, penalty marker in as he's hit at the 50. Scott Norwood just kicked a 32-yard field goal at Giant Stadium, where the Buffalo Bills have taken a 3-0 lead over the New York Jets.
They got holding on the New England Patriots.
So that good field position ends right now.
Don,
holding, 58 offense, first down.
Pete Brock, the center on Dan Hampton, number 99. So far, this game has not had the pace that I thought it would have.
What were you looking for?
Well, a lot more activity out of the Chicago Bear defense, a little more running out of the New England Patriots offense, -2 yards. That's one of the staples of the New England offense.
Bears have gotten a little conservative, I think, because their corners were getting beat last week by Tampa Bay. They were behind 28-17 at the half, so they've shown less blitz. That time they came with a blitz, but leaving early was Otis Wilson. All three Chicago linebackers, Wilson, Singletary, and Marshall, in the true Bear tradition.
An illegal snap on 58 offense.
Good.
First down.
Pete Brock. All three of those starting linebackers were called for personal fouls last week.
Don, I'll tell you, one of the problems that the New England Patriots are going to have is when the Bears go to that real rush and pressure defense like they showed there, the offensive lineman must identify who is their responsibility and who the backs are supposed to block. So you can understand Pete Brock trying to snap the ball 8 yards deep to Tony Eason and still looking for who he's got to block. There's going to be some confusion sometimes, and they just can't panic. Just keep your head here.
First down now and 25. Fumble ball, but James picks it up. Gets a little back to the 30. We had a chance to visit some length last night with Raymond Berry, the coach of the Patriots, and he said, you can draw things up on the board, but he said then you have to deal with reality. When you play Chicago, you don't have time to execute plays like you like the passing plays. You've got to get the ball away in a hurry. Your quarterback's going to be in his back.
Yeah, no question. One of the problems the New England Patriots have is just 7 days to prepare for this Chicago Bear defense. It's a very difficult defense to settle in your player's mind if this is the way we'll attack it, and it'll work.
You've got two coaches who've done some catching. Between them, Berry and Ditka caught over 1,000 passes during their playing careers. Berry had well over 600 going to the Hall of Fame. Tip ball. And it'll be third down in about 22.
That was intended for Derek Ramsey, and he was open.
Wilbur Marshall appeared to get a hand on the ball. He's playing outside linebacker, number 1 out of Florida a year ago. He's moved in as a starter because Al Harris is still away, who was the starter. He and Todd Bell want more money.
I think they're the only two holdouts left in the NFL, too, aren't they?
No, the Giants have an all-pro corner.
Mike Haynes
out. A lot of them have the same agent, though.
Yeah, New England 0 of 3 in third down conversion so far today.
From the shotgun on 3rd and 22. Tony Eason standing back. 4-man rush. Loops it out with the ball. Very nicely is Derwin Williams, but he's going to be way short of a first down as Williams is out to the 40-yard line. Got 9, but the Patriots have to punt the ball.
Leslie Frazier on the tackle. One of the guys that the New England Patriots want to get into the ball game is Stanley Morgan. Last time these two teams played, this guy had receptions for 130 yards. But you can, what is that? Looked like Greco-Roman wrestling there at the line of scrimmage. That's really stretching the one bump rule.
Stanley Morgan, his statistics over his career, he's caught over 300 passes and averaged almost 21 yards a catch.
He can go.
Buford ready to punt it now. Back in is Camarillo to punt it. And back deep is Ken Taylor for the Bears. On the run, fields it nicely. He's swept under. But good field position. That's at the 32-yard line with 12:21 to play in the first half. And we'll be back to Soldier Field in a moment. Back at Soldier Field, Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. Bears lead early in the second quarter, 7-0. As McMahon takes a look after a play fake, he unloads long. Way too long. Going for the ball was Ken Marjoram. Not a real fast receiver, but a sure-handed one from Stanford. Philly getting closer now. Another field goal by Paul McFadden, and it's a 10-6 game. Rams leading at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia.
Interesting choice of play calls there. McMahon now 4 of 8, 55 yards and a touchdown, but I wonder why they would go so deep there so quick.
That's interesting, Trump. He's looking to get a lot in a hurry, McMahon. He's gone deep a lot here.
Yeah, but
once for 7.
To Marjoram,
6.
He's not the quickest receiver you have. Galt can run by anybody.
Calvin Thomas in motion on 2nd and 10. Here's McMahon. Nice strike. Down to his tight end, Emery Moorhead, and he is across the midfield line for a 20-yard gain, and the Chicago Bears crossing the New England area.
Much better choice. Play action fake to Walter Payton. Ran Thomas in motion. The defense had to wait to see if Walter Payton was going to get the ball. That freed Emery Moorhead wide open. And the Bears so far in the preseason and first game of the 1985 season, it seems that when they throw the ball to the tight end, good things happen. And this team has really not given their tight ends much respect since Mike Ditka left eons ago.
That's the first time they've gone to a tight end in the game, and now McMahon lost one out in the far flank. A nice play by Marjoram. Those are the sure hands. He caught a ton of balls from John Elway when they're both at Stanford.
13-yard catch by Marjoram.
Mets have had trouble at Montreal. They're winning right now. Mets trailing in the National League East, on half game behind the Cardinals starting the day.
Comment from Marjoram. He missed the entire season last year with a bad knee. I'm happy to see him back on the field. Orthopedic surgery nowadays, since Bob Costas in NFL 85 is talking about injuries, the number of players who come back from major knee surgery now, the percentage is much higher back when, as opposed to when Gale Sayers or Dick Butkus played.
First down and 10. Handoff to Payton. Fumble. Free ball. Let's see who's got it. Looks like the Patriots. They do. New England gets the ball at the 37-yard line of the Patriots. So the Bears' drive is stopped, and again, the Patriots take over with good field position, but they've not been close to a score. Haven't even been close to a long field goal in this game with virtually no offense. 11:20 to play in the first half, and it's a 7-0 game, Chicago.
Don Fred Marion came up the ball. Watch the way Walter carries it. Got it in both hands, and can't really tell who made the contact. Looked like Ben Thomas, who was in there playing the nose for the New England Patriots, jarred it loose. Fred Marion on the recovery.
So let's see if Eason can move now in this Bear defense. Showing blitz are the Bears. James runs right head-on into hard hits. Steve McMichael, an ex-Patriot, was there, along with Mike Hartenstein. The Jets have just put up a touchdown. Freeman McNeil on a 6-yard run. They now lead the Bills 7-3.
Here's number 72, William Perry again, Bears first-round draft choice. The premier power rusher in the NFL.
2nd and 9 now for New England. Eason gets time. He's intercepted. Benson with his 32nd career interception.
Derek Ramsey, the intended receiver, stopped dead in his tracks. This is something that Tony Eason doesn't do normally. He makes good choices, but here there's double coverage. You see a little bit of the pressure, but Ramsey stopped. And of course that made it easy for Gary Fensick. Now a turnover for each team. Watch William Perry up front. Good pressure, he turns around. And now he's going to be an offensive lineman. Whoa, that's a pulling guard right there.
He's got a few of them. Now the Bears go to the run, and Walter Payton on a flea flicker throws to McMahon. Lofts it up. The Patriots might get this one back.
They do. Those are the trick plays that you're talking about. That'll be a touchback. New England ball at the 20. There was good penetration by the New England Patriots at the line of scrimmage. I think Mike Dick would like to have, now watch the penetration, you'll see, who comes up through there. It looks like Toby Williams gets right up in McMahon's face. The ball never should have been thrown.
Brett Marion, who got beaten earlier, goes up against Marjoram and comes down with the ball.
That's a good rebound right there. New England ball, their own 20-yard line. McMahon can't throw that ball. He's got to take a sack, because that's another one of those trick plays, and the receiver's either open or not open. Don't try to force it in there.
I mean, you can't throw the ball in that play.
No. Just
he can
eat the ball.
It.
Yeah, just eat the ball. Just go on the ground, go back, try again.
Here's incomplete going to Tony Collins, as the Patriot offense has been unable to move the ball at all against this Chicago Bear defense. As a collegian, talking about getting numbers, Jim McMahon, while a Brigham Young quarterback as a starter, 22-3 record, and had 71 NCAA passing records when he was done. 71 national records.
I guess it's just BYU. The air up there. Everybody who's a quarterback for BYU has a fair amount of NCAA passing records.
Eason lobs it out. And Collins coming out of the backfield on 2nd down and 10 gets ahead for about 5 or 6. Singletary got him. Mike Singletary played every down.
I like this type of offense by the New England Patriots. Employ the use of those running backs as delay receivers out of the backfield. Eason's had good time to throw, but you got to be patient. Take 5 or 6 yards at a time and try to drive it down the field here. They got 9:48 to go in the first half.
Patriots trailing in the second quarter, 7-0. Eason thrown off his back foot, gets Ramsey, and he's got a first down. Wilbur Marshall was with him. Eason against the big rush. Such a strong arm, he literally throwing a ball, leaning back.
Ramsey did a great job there. Wilbur Marshall faked the blitz. Contact between the linebacker and the tight end. Eason had time to wait for it. Ramsey gets the clearance and makes the catch. Marshall on the tackle, but not before the first down.
So the Patriots get 4 new downs with 9 minutes and 4 seconds and the clock running in the second quarter. 7-0 Chicago Bears scored on their opening possession, a 32-yard pass play from McMahon to Dennis McKinnon. James, who ran well against the Packers last Sunday at Foxborough, was knocked down by a former Patriot, Steve McMichael. He's probably very motivated to do well against the Patriots. The Patriots drafted him in the 3rd round. And he wasn't much of a player, they didn't feel, in camp, and they cut him.
Here's the signals coming in from Steve Grogan on the sideline. Raymond Berry right behind him. James, 4 carries, 2 yards. I think the New England Patriots now have less than 5 yards rushing offense.
Tony Eason was a record setter at Illinois as a passer, too. He's got 9 NCAA records. Coming out after McMahon. Eason takes a look. He does well with his reads. He looks all over the field, even with the rush against him. That time it was a short gain. Stanley Morgan, coming over the middle, was knocked down by Singletary.
Whoa, Mets are powering away from Montreal, 4-0. Game that they now have to win to catch up with the St. Louis Cardinals, that's for sure.
Still a long way to go in the baseball season, though. 7:44 to go in the first half here at Chicago, where the Patriots come out trailing 7-0. The 3rd down is 3 yards. Oh, that would have been it. Leslie Frazier, who ran one back for a touchdown to turn her in around last Sunday here at Soldier Field against Tampa Bay, had a play on that ball, and he had an open lane to the end zone.
Cedric Jones was the intended receiver. It appeared to be just a hitch, which is a 5-yard straight down the field pattern stop, and the quarterback throws you the ball. But Cedric Jones fell down.
Hunter's getting a lot of work today here at Chicago on a beautiful September day. Temperature in the mid-60s, clear sunny skies, sailboats out on the lake. It can get mean in Chicago as the season wears on the shores of Lake Michigan. But right now, perfect playing conditions. It is breezy as Camarillo stands in, hits another good punt downfield. Here's Ken Taylor for the Bears back at his 15. They mark him out of bounds at the 29-yard line. 46-yard punt and a 14-yard return. So Chicago's offense comes back out, and we will in a moment.
Bears' last 3 possessions, they have 87 yards passing, 51 rushing, 138 total yards. The Patriots 66 rushing, 66 passing, 4 rushing for a total of 70 yards total offense.
Now the Bears go 1st and 10 from their 29-yard line. And here comes Walter, but not very far. Did move out to the 32-yard line. Toby Williams knocked him down. Jim McMahon, the Bears quarterback, has a great attitude. He came in here and said, "We're going to win because I can't stand losing."
Well, you better tell the Patriots that.
We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
You're watching Channel 17, WTVO Rockford.
McMahon from Jersey City, New Jersey. That is country club living in Jersey City.
Yeah, he's used to a little pressure, isn't he?
2nd down and 7. Dennis Gentry running very nicely. Gets to the 35-yard line. Will bring up third and about 4. Washington has extended its lead now to 16-3. And Dejas hit a field goal for the Oilers. Get them on the board.
Walter Payton out of the ballgame again for the Chicago Bears. Gentry, his replacement. Walter standing on the sideline. Doesn't appear to be anything wrong with him. Maybe just catching his breath. Payton 9 carries, 26 yards, well below his average.
Guys that have known him all, Trump, say that McMahon kind of reminds him a little of Bobby Lane.
Bobby Lane. Although McMahon's bigger than Bobby Lane.
Let's see what he does on third down and 3. Gets a man. Let's see where they spot it. They're going to give him a first down. Marjoram went where he had to go. The Patriots threw him back 9 yards.
Oh, that's a very friendly spot.
Now back to NFL 85. Bob?
All right, Don, early in the second quarter at the Meadowlands, it's Freeman McNeil from 6 yards out for the Jets' first touchdown. They go in front of the Buffalo Bills by a score of 7-3. Now let's get back to Soldier Field and the hardest working man in football, Cricky and Trumpy.
We're out there this year. We'll be there tomorrow night on NBC Radio when the Browns and the Steelers meet at Cleveland Stadium.
I'll be wearing my hard hat. How about you?
Blue collar bowl.
Yeah, you got it.
Right now, though, we have Jim McMahon firing for the Bears, and he is out to the midfield strike. A gain of about 10 yards. Well-thrown ball, and McMahon was decked when he released it. Coming on a blitz was Steve Nelson.
The Patriots, so far today, do not have a sack, but they have been all over Jim McMahon. That time, Steve Nelson, pressure on McMahon. Couldn't really follow through. That's a great catch by McKinnon. He's having another good day.
The ball is at.
Dennis McKinnon, 6'1", 185, in his third year from Florida State. School has turned out a lot of good pro football players under Coach Bowden. 4:28 to play. First half, and Bears continue to lead 7-0. Matsui looks for some room and finds some. And on first down, he's ahead for about 8. Picking his way, Matsui, a very underrated fullback. Does everything well, particularly block.
You can see what he's picked up from Walter Payton, a little dance before he gets to the line of scrimmage. He has great faith in his offensive line. Watch the little dance. He goes, boop, 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 and right up through that line of scrimmage. Good bow by the Chicago offensive lineman. Nice little delay for about 8 yards, 2nd and 2.
McMahon has now put the ball up 13 times, completed 8 for 101 yards and a touchdown. He's been intercepted once. Suey gets his number called again, and he responds with a first down carry for Chicago inside the New England 40.
The strength of this New England defense is their 2 outside linebackers. We've talked a great deal about Andre Tippett. Don Blackman last week had 3 sacks. Big guy. Look at him shed those blockers. Still get in to make the tackle on Matsui. These 2 linebackers would play for anybody in the NFL, Blackman and Andre Tippett.
Both of them with 3 sacks last week. But still, Patriots feel their pass rush has to be better from the down linemen. 3 minutes to go now. First half, Bears moving the ball and leading in the game 7-0. McMahon with a hard throw and a great catch by McKinnon. Well, that's really a big league play by Dennis McKinnon. He took the punishment and held on. Great play.
That was a wide receiver sandwich. Steve Nelson on the inside, Ronnie Lippett on the outside. This little slant pass with acceleration. Now watch the hit. Goes up nose. When he comes down, there's going to be Patriots all over the place. Hangs onto the football.
Nobody said this would be easy. Dennis McKinnon will pay the price.
Those are times when you wish you had a sky hook. Just kind of hang up there.
The Bears are moving now. McMahon with a sharp passing game after the offense misfired the last few possessions. Suey, nothing. Patriot linebackers led by Nelson and Johnny Rembert were right there to make the knockdown. At halftime, we'll be going to NFL 85 and Bob Costas to update the scoreboard on this second Sunday of play. Bears have a short week. They'll be against the Vikings on Thursday night. The Patriot defense has given ground grudgingly to the premier runner in the history of the game, Walter Payton. He's had to work hard, so has Suey. Ninth play of the drive coming up now for Chicago. Bears leading 7-0 with 2 minutes to play in the first half. Don Fricky with Bob Trumpy. As you see the great disparity running the ball, Patriots have almost nothing at all.
Report from the bench is Walter Payton just getting a rest, probably well-deserved. His 3,047 carries coming into this season.
That's 2 the most in history. Third down and about a yard. McMahon puts it up.
Shouldn't have been thrown.
The ball was tipped, and yet they came down with it. Coming up with the ball was a backup tight end, Tim Reitman, a 25-yard gain.
Reitman, the first player to sign a U.S. Football League contract on this ball, should not have been thrown. You see Don Blackman, 55, right in his face. The ball is tipped by Ray Claiborne, caught by Reitman, but that one worked. Telling you, he's courting disaster if he throws it up like that much more often. Once again down on this play, you'll see 55 of the New England Patriots. Don Blackman right in McMahon's face. No way this ball should have been thrown. Now, luckily, Ray Claiborne, even though he's been taking receiving drills, can't hang on to the football. I guess good teams get good breaks. That's twice now. McMahon, though, has thrown with very poor, in my estimation, very poor choices.
He was fortunate there, though, and the Bears are now challenging first and goal. He's going right for an offensive tackle. Andy Frederick. Might have been a tackle-eligible play.
Had to be if he's downfield and the ball's thrown. It's a penalty. It was originally designed to go to Dennis Gentry, number 29. A little delay, but it was well covered by the New England Patriots. Patriots defense got to feel pretty good right now in this first half. They've done a good job against this very potent Chicago offense. Report from the Bears bench now, Walter Payton does have a sore neck. Should return in the second half.
Suey and Gentry are the runners now for Chicago. Second and goal from the 5. Bears lead 7-0. Gentry pays the price as the Patriot defense again shoots the gaps on that goal line. And the clock runs down to 1:16 and ticking in the second quarter. Third down arises.
This drive started at the Chicago Bear 28-yard line. That was the 11th play in the drive.
Third and goal from the 3.
Bears 3 of 5 on third down conversions. This one is third and goal.
You talked earlier, Trump, about good things happening when the Bears go to their tight end. They've only thrown to Emery Moorhead once, then of course that big gainer to Reitman. Right now there's a break in the action though, and Jim McMahon's coming over for some counsel. Back at Soldier Field, the Bears are down close, but they're having problems as now Walter Payton goes in with third down and goal coming up from the 3-yard line of New England.
Well, Walter Payton is an excellent passer, along with being a great receiver and runner. Andy Frederick is still in the ball game, number 71, offensive tackle. Last snap he lined up as a tight end. I'd look for the option pass by Walter Payton. He's been very good in his career, percentage-wise, throwing for touchdowns. Frederick at the top of the screen is an eligible receiver, even though he's wearing number 71.
Lined up as a tight end, another tight end over with him as a wingback, Emery Moorhead. They might be going that way with Payton. Here comes Payton. He's going to throw if he can. Incomplete. Moorhead protesting that he was interfered with, but it brings up fourth down, and the field goal kicker, Kevin Butler, comes up as the Bears on 3 tries. Some first and goal at the 5, can't get it in.
You'll see Payton come in motion, and all the way, he tries to fake the run here, but I think New England's seen him throw the ball so often, kind of in desperation, he throws it to Moorhead. That would have been an outstanding catch. Frederick was in the end zone.
And it's now going to be a 20-yard attempt for Kevin Butler, an All-America place kicker at Georgia. Nails it. 37 seconds to play in the first half, and the Bears extend their lead to 10-0. So the big play in that drive was the one that was very nearly a Patriot interception, but it got through the hands of the defender, and Reitman, the tight end, came down with it. They give the Chicago Bears a first and goal at the Patriot 5, but they couldn't get it in. NFL 85 coming up at halftime, a review of what's transpired in the second Sunday of play. Chicago Bears, who won their first championship of any kind in 21 years a season ago. They took the NFC Central, then went to the playoffs and beat Washington before finally losing to eventual Super Bowl champion San Francisco. The Bears have rejuvenated the football following in Chicago, one of the hallmark franchises in the league. Chicago Bear football now, again, an item of optimism here.
Saw Mike Ditka standing on the sideline. A lot of people here in Chicago wondered what kind of head coach I'm thinking of Dick Butkus, Mike Ditka would be. Now given credit for turning around this franchise. Doing an excellent job from top to bottom, not only in player selection and coaching, but in just steadying the entire franchise since Papa Bear left. How about that drive? 13 plays, 68 yards, 6 minutes and 39 seconds, and time-wise, this first half has been totally dominated by the Chicago Bears.
Ditka was an all-pro player for that last NFL championship team for the Bears back in '63. 5 times an all-pro player. Got over 420 passes as a player with Chicago and Philadelphia and Dallas. High kick downfield, and here comes Starring. Stephen Starring's across the 20, and he's out to the 22, so the Patriots get the ball, but with little time to move it. 32 seconds on the first half clock as Coach Barry counts as his quarterback, Tony Eason. He's only been sacked once. Singletary got him one time.
And the only yardage they've really been able to gain in this first half has been passing. That's the weakness of this Chicago Bear defense. Most coaches will tell you that if you face a blitzing team, they're trying to disguise a weakness somewhere. That weakness is the defensive backs of the Chicago Bears, and it's been well exploited by New England.
Bears in command at 10-0. The Patriots have played sound defense. They've forced 2 Chicago turnovers, but the Patriots unable to move with consistency. Go to the run. James goes over and doesn't get much as he's run down very quickly. Coming over to make the stop on him was William Perry, who at 320 pounds can run.
320 pounds, that's got to be a misprint. There is a flag on the play. Face mask against Chicago, and William Perry made the tackle. Can we make that assumption? The thing that surprises a lot of people about William Perry.
72 defense. First down.
That is William Perry. Things that surprise a lot of people, just how quick he is for his size. Sheds a blocker, gets out there, and James says, oh, God, John Hancock Tower is about to tackle him.
Ken Baldessari, the Bears Director of Information, said when Perry came to town, everybody talked about how they're going to get his weight down, but he said the first thing we did was took him over to a rib house and had the TV crew get him eating 3 slabs of ribs. It's a tough start. We're telling this guy to lose weight, then we want to see how much he can eat.
Yeah.
Eason dropping. He's got a problem and runs away from it. Throws on the run. He's got a man. Williams is open. He's out to the 49-yard line. Beautifully done. Derwin Williams open, and Eason with a great arm gets the ball right to him with 16 seconds left. The Patriots call a timeout. 21-yard gain.
Benchick on the tackle. Eason does one thing very well. He's got that good presence that a lot of quarterbacks have. He can feel the pressure before it actually gets there. He throws the ball, and Williams running a good pattern.
Gain of 21.
Good tackle by Benchick. 21 yards.
On the field.
Watch the pass rush of William Perry. Number 72 at least 320 pounds. Pete Brock.
The guy draws a crowd.
Yeah, he's being double teamed and
falling upon. I'll tell you something. One of the most amazing things I've heard, Bob, about Perry. Bill Parcells, the coach of the Giants, was asked about William Perry when Buddy Ryan had said he was a draft mistake. And Parcells, the Giants coach, said if he keeps his weight down, I think he can be the greatest defensive lineman of all time. And they said, now wait a minute, you're saying all time. He said of all time. That's how much ability I think he has.
But the only problem is, Don, if at 21 he fights a weight problem, what will he have to do at 28?
fight a weight problem.
Yes, but I mean, eventually it gets so much that you just can't handle it anymore.
I tell you, he's a great kid too. He's got a personality that lights up a stadium. He's going to be a popular guy here in Chicago. Maybe now with other offenses. First down and 10. 12 seconds left. As second down arises for the Patriots.
Robert Marshall on the coverage. Bears came with the all-out rush there.
I think this is the first time the Patriots have been across midfield. They're just by the nose of the ball across it.
They have 7 rushes for 6 yards. This first half
won't get it done.
This first half has been totally dominated by the Chicago Bears.
We first saw Perry at the Orange Bowl, and they were saying this guy can dunk a basketball. He weighed 340 at the time. There wasn't a basketball around, but he took a football and with one step went up over the crossbar and slammed it down. That's 10 feet up. Eaton back for a second time. That was Singletary coming on the blitz. His second sack.
Last week the Bears got but 2 sacks, and with their 72 sacks in the 1984 season, that averages about 4.5 sacks a ball game, so they've got some making up to do. Patriots again take a timeout. Of course, when you're sacked, the clock stops in the last 2 minutes, and then when everything is set, the quarterback is up, and everything's coming out of the right spot, then they start the clock again.
Singletary with 2 sacks today. Last week, Richard Dent had 2 sacks against Tampa Bay. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. It is intended for the private use of our audience, and any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Chicago Bears and the National Football League is prohibited. 7 seconds to play in the first half. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy, with the Bears in the lead 10-0 on their home field, opening with 2 home games.
Don, you jinxed the New England Patriots. You said the first time they've been across the 50-yard line, and then Eason gets sacked.
Now they're back to their 43 with 7 seconds left, so we're going to see a very strong right arm put the ball up into the end zone here.
I would certainly think so. They've got the players to get down underneath the pass into the end zone, and Eason certainly has the arm.
He is really
hope for a pass interference penalty or just a lucky catch, a tipped ball.
3rd and 18.
Tony Eason and Jim McMahon, his counterpart, are the only players in collegiate history who've passed for 3,000 yards, more than 3,000 in 2 seasons as collegians.
There's a track team up there on the top of the screen.
And a lot of Bears to defend against them. Here's Eason on the last play of the first half. Lets her fly. It's like volleyball, and the Bears get it. Intercepted. Richard Dent has the ball. They say Dent's fast enough to play linebacker, and they had him downfield and covered that play. So a loud out closes the first half for the Patriots.
Looked like R.C. Owens back there.
A lot of guys got a hand on this.
Let's see how many people touch it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It's an interception for Richard Dent. Doesn't get many of those and appreciates it when he does.
Especially 50 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Well, that'll conclude the first half of play as Dipke and the Bears head to the locker room. We'll be going to NFL 85 for an update on what's transpiring around the National Football League in a moment. The Chicago Bears scoring first in a 32-yard touchdown pass play to Dennis McKinnon from McMahon on their first possession. Looked like they might be on the way to a rout, but then the Patriots held. NFL 85 halftime activities will continue in a moment. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station. Back at Soldier Field at halftime, it's the Bears 10, the New England Patriots nothing. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. Last night, Raymond Berry, the coach of the Patriots, told us, he said, you only know how good you are when you go up against the best. He said, we're going to find out a lot about our offense today, and what they found out, unfortunately, Trump, is they can't move the ball.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Total domination by the Chicago Bears in time of possession, 18:59 to 11:01 in total yards, 206 for Chicago, just 85 for New England. And I'll make this point. I don't think the Chicago Bears have played particularly well, offensively or defensively, and they've really shut off the New England Patriots both sides of the line of scrimmage.
Well, they've done a lot better than they did a week ago at halftime against Tampa Bay. In the opener, it was 28-17 at halftime. The Bears, though, do have a shutout going, and the Bear defense is back on track because the Patriots put up a lot of points last week against Green Bay.
Yeah, Don, this is a bad team to be behind. If you're the New England Patriots and their fans, you don't want to be behind a team that has this 46 defense that will, on occasion, really go at the quarterback. The Bears only have 2 sacks in the first half, and I don't think they've gone to that defense a lot because, frankly, I don't think they've needed it.
Well, they only have 2 sacks. That was the Patriots' big concern, that their quarterback, Tony Eason, was going to get swept under. But the pass blocking with an injured offensive line has been admirable when the Bears have only rushed 4 players. But when they've sent Singletary, well, he's got Eason twice.
Yeah, you're right. He's got the 2 sacks. Last week, of course, Dent got the 2 sacks. But the New England Patriots, who like to have balance in their offense, and they run the ball very well with James and Collins, have a grand total of 7 yards rushing. Time of possession, obviously, is very much on the side of the Chicago Bears. And I'm not sure Raymond Berry can tell his team anything to make it better.
Well, just get out there and do your best, guys. We'll be back after this word from your local station. Front in New York.
Second quarter.
Caligula? Anybody who can get Caligula in at a halftime of a football game deserves some award. I'm not sure anyone else will ever get it after Axe gets it.
I like Diogenes. We could apply him to coaching. Diogenes said when the pupil fails, perhaps the teacher should be punished.
You're talking over my head now. Let's get back to the stats of the game here. As we documented, look at the numbers there. 2 turnovers each. One, that interception by Tony Eason at the end of the half was the first time in Tony Eason's professional career he's thrown 2 interceptions in 1 football game. But as I said earlier, I don't think the Chicago Bears would list that half as one of the best halves they've ever played, and yet they lead 10-0, are totally dominating the New England Patriots, and I'm not sure where you go if you're Raymond Berry.
Well, I think Eason looks good. I mean, I think you've got to throw on the team, and the Bears they're suspect at the corners. They were beaten badly. They gave up 4 first-half touchdowns to Tampa Bay. They're showing blitz a lot less. They've been successful with it, with Singletary getting 2 sacks, but there's no question that Eason is very mobile. He's quick-footed, nimble, with a great arm. I think they can move. You've got to throw. They can't run on this team.
They haven't so far been able to run, just 7 yards rushing. But the thing about it is that the longer you play the Chicago Bears, the more you put your quarterback in jeopardy. This is where the Chicago Bears got on the board first. Good scramble by McMahon. Excellent throw to McKinnon on the move. And that's a 32-yard touchdown. After 3 minutes and 3 seconds, 69 yards. And then Kevin Butler made it 10-0 with this 30-yard field goal. And that was a rather easy drive, and that was a big play. McMahon should not have thrown a pass. Reitman catches it for a big first down, but they could not get it in the end zone. And the Bear defense starts the second half as they'll kick off to the New England Patriots.
Big burly Mike Ditka locked in now as part of the franchise. He's done a great job for Chicago.
Yeah, I heard somebody in Chicago say that you judge the Bears' success in football on whether or not the head coach has broken his hand. 2 years ago, they had a losing record, broken hand. Last year, winning record, no broken hand.
Right now, the kickoff is carried down to Stephen Starring from 3 yards deep. Here he comes. Penalty markers. Starring is out across the 25-yard line. Ken Taylor ran him out of bounds. And a man, as you see, is down now for Chicago.
There's a flag on the flag.
So the Patriots send out their offense. 1st and 10. The signal is going to be against Chicago and offsetting penalties.
Got to do it again then.
Underrated player right there. Big Calvin Thomas from Illinois.
This Chicago Bear franchise has a lot of
Offside, number 80 and 33 on the kicking team. Holding 67 of the receiving team. 3 flags.
They'll try it again. They got a lot of good players on this Chicago Bear football team. They really do. Hampton is an excellent player that doesn't get a lot of press.
He goes to the Pro Bowl 3 years in a row.
Yeah, but he still doesn't get a lot of press when you talk about the great defensive lineman in the NFL to his peers. I think everyone recognizes what a great player he is. But if you had the football fans list the 5 greatest defensive linemen you can find in the game, Hampton's name would not be in it.
Very true. Scoreboard changing around the league. Nail O'Donohue has just kicked a field goal as the Cards go up on Cincinnati. 17-14 still in the second quarter of play. 47-yarder by O'Donohue. Miami, beaten at Houston in its opening game, having problems with the Indianapolis Colts, who were absolutely destroyed by the Steelers in the opening game. Now, the kickoff again, and here is Starring. He'll do it again from about the same place. Penalty markers again, as Starring this time is out to the 33-yard line. 35-yard return. And again, it was Ken Taylor on the tackle. There is a flag on the play.
Holding against the New England Patriots. What they don't need is bad field position to start this second half. Now, to remind the New England fans, Bears defense allowed only 95 total yards and 4 first downs in the second half last week against the Tampa Bay Bucks. At this point, the Pats have only 78 yards total offense so far.
67 receivers, first down.
Didn't 67 hold on the last kick, on the first kick? Well, he's got that down. Let's work on something else.
Going to do it till he gets it right.
Yes, well.
Only this time it wasn't offset, so a good return is negated, and the ball is set back to the 9-yard line. Patriots starting out in a hold, open the third quarter of play. Tony Collins. And Collins almost broke it for a big one. As it was, he got ahead close to the 17-yard line.
He just rushed in one play for more yards than the New England Patriots gained in the entire first half.
Tony works hard. Did not come from Easy Street, one of 16 children from Penn Yan, New York.
No wonder he's quick to get to the outside.
Second round in 81. He's been good. Second down now, and just over 2 for New England. Collins to the right. James leads the blockers. Collins turns the corner, and he has a first down for New England. So the Patriots come out running. They get a first down.
Otis Wilson on the tackle. The interesting thing about these two running backs in tandem, both will readily admit neither likes to block. Normally it's the fullback's job to block. Craig James in front of Tony Collins. The Bears do a good job of stringing this out. And Collins does get enough for a first down, and I believe that's the New England Patriots' first down rushing of the ball game.
Walter Payton has felt the teeth of this New England defense. He now is reported to have bruised ribs, and we'll wait and see if he comes back. Here's a handoff again. Out to the 26-yard line. On a first down play, the Patriots come out of running, trying to get that Bear defense to look for the run. And Collins is ahead to the 26-yard line. A gain of 5 yards on the play is a great one. Walks the sideline.
Now add to the bad neck bruise ribs for Walter Payton. They still expect him to return.
Amazing thing about Payton. Brace on the sideline with McMahon. Straighten their backs out. Payton never takes it down off when he's on the field. Plays every team like it's his last one, every down. Collins runs on second down. This time the Bears stuff it. Steve McMichael, the ex-Patriot, made the hit. Hartenstein, McMichael, Hampton, and Dent, the defensive front for Chicago. Otis Wilson, Mike Singletary, and Wilbur Marshall back the line with Richardson and Frazier the corners, Fensick and Doerson the safeties.
It's been all Collins to start this second half, Don. 4 straight carries. He's now got 5 on the game for 19 yards.
Now they have to throw it. Or down in yardage would indicate they would. It's third down and a long 4, almost 5.
Bears showing blitz.
And the Patriots, just as we said, go right to the run.
That's one of the ways to beat the blitz if you can possibly do it. Robert Weathers on the
first
carry.
Down.
Robert Weathers on the carry. Kind of squirted right up through there. Against a blitz team, what they'll do is take gaps, especially the Chicago Bear team. And if you can just seal one guy off, a running back, any running back can squeeze up through there. So now 2 first downs, both rushing to begin the second half for the New England Patriots.
I'm going to stay away from play calling for a while. First and 10. Weathers, stuffed. Wilbur Marshall. They say this Marshall can run like a cornerback.
Robert Weathers.
That time on the blitz, just a predetermined inside move. He was almost there to take the ball right from the quarterback.
Loss of 4.
Mike Ditka,
14.
one of the great Bear players. Really, he only spent 6 years as a Chicago player. Contract impasse. He then went to Philadelphia for 2 years and to Dallas for 4. 5 times an All-Pro, 420 career receptions.
That's a bunch. Most of them in Wrigley Field.
Hey, when he was at Pittsburgh, he was even better on defense. Blitz! Eason gets it away as the blitz comes. Dave Dorison, the strong safety, had a clear shot at Eason, who got the ball away to save a long sack.
And see, this is the problem in facing the Chicago Bear defense. They don't substitute players, so you don't know when they're coming with the rush. You see the defensive linemen consume offensive linemen. Dorison free to try to make the sack and almost did.
This is New England's longest possession, almost 4 minutes. 11:13 to go now in the third quarter.
Well, when they show these films, the New England Patriots will be out quickly on Tuesday. The defense might be in there for days.
Third and 13. It's got to be a long ball. Eason lets it rip too high, and Cedric Jones went up for it, had his hands on it, and good thing that he did, because streaking down the near sideline was Mike Richardson, ready to take it and go in.
Jones almost caught that pass. You can see that Tony Eason right now is he's a little flushed. He's had constant pressure throughout the day. Found receivers open. I think without the kind of pass rush that the Chicago Bears constantly put on, Eason would make that an easy completion.
So Camarillo, a long-distance punter, is standing back at his 16-yard line. Ken Taylor, a deep man, anticipating that boot. Penalty marker down.
Offside Chicago.
Taylor will field it on a fair catch at his 32.
The 5 yards will not give the New England Patriots a first down, but they'd like to give Camarillo a chance to kick it again. That was just 39 yards.
So the clock is stopped with 10:59 left to go in the third quarter. The Bears continue to lead as they did at the half, 10-0. Referee Tom Dooley now brings the people back as we had the penalty marker on a 39-yard punt by Rich Camarillo of the Patriots.
Well, they're going to turn down the penalty.
Offside. 30 to climb. First down.
It's a good punt when you look at net yardage. No return on the fair catch.
That surprises me, though. You add 5 yards to it. I think I'd have made a punt again.
Back to the action now. Jim McMahon drops to throw. First down for the Bears. The outlet is too low for Walter Payton as the baseball scores now come in and continue to change. McMahon's first throw of the third quarter with 10:54 to play in the quarter. Yankees in Toronto, scoreless. Got Yankee Stadium sold off for that.
Big games there, Mets in Montreal, St. Louis, and the Cubs in the National League East.
Boy, did the Cubs go in the chute or what after winning them?
Well, it's like facing the American Association pitchers, though.
Opening day, their starting lineup, 9 guys, averaged $1 million a man. Throw down the field, and the ball is caught by Reitman. Open field, the tight end inside the 25 and down to the 19-yard line.
Yards on the catch. Fred Marion once again on the coverage. This is a nice little action by the offense. Once again, the linebackers must respect the running ability of Walter Payton. And you see the single coverage. Fred Marion on Reitman, who is never going to be an anchor man on anybody's relay team, but he can lug it down there as long as nobody catches him. Big first down for the Chicago Bears.
Reitman was the first player signed by the U.S. Football League coming out of UCLA. He elected to go with George Allen in the now defunct Chicago Blitz. He's a player, he says he can do everything but run well, but he's been fast in this game, and now Payton breaks it down inside the 15-yard line. As we take a moment to look at the scoreboard. NFL 85 on the second Sunday of play. Cardinals up on Cincinnati, second quarter 17-14. Houston staying close to Washington after the Redskins led 16-0. 16-10 now. Detroit with a surprise over the favorite Cowboys, leading 13-0 at the half at Pontiac, Michigan. The Jets doing damage to the Buffalo Bills, 21-3 at the half. The Rams only up by 4, and Miami having a hard time with Indianapolis. Form chart taking a beating on the second Sunday. Here's the handoff now, running with the ball, but not very far, down to about the 11-yard line. Was Matt Suhey, knocked down by Toby Williams. Ken Sims, Dennis Owens, Garen Veras, Toby Williams have all been in that defensive front of the New England Patriots from time to time. Linebackers with Tippett and Blackman on the outside. Nelson's played a big game inside, and Johnny Rembert back and doing some hitting for New England.
Andy Frederick, number 71, offensive tackle, just reported to the Bears offense. He is an eligible receiver.
Third and 2. Suhey tried the middle, and if he got there, it was just by the football. As 8:24 and running shows on the third quarter clock, and the Bears continue to lead 10-0.
This New England Patriot defense has been on the field for so long to this point in the football game. It's not a particularly hot day, but eventually their mind is not going to be in this game, and too physically they're going to be just worn out. Pull it down a little bit. I'd say we'll see Suhey line up in front of Walter Payton, and Walter Payton will Fosbury flop over the defensive line, hopefully for a first down.
Here they come, Suhey, the fullback. Payton asks the crowd to take it down. Fourth down and less than a yard.
Suhey gets it, coming this way.
McMahon gets it. Patriots all hitting on him, but did they get him down in time? Fourth and less than a yard. Jim McMahon calls his own number and gets it down close. Things get easier for the Patriots next week. They go to Buffalo. The Bears with a short week. They'll be going against the Vikings at Minneapolis on Thursday night.
I'm surprised at that call. Jim McMahon is absolutely the cornerstone offense of the offense of the Chicago Bears. I think if I were Mike Ditka, I would not put a guy who last year suffered a lacerated kidney in any jeopardy whatsoever. Somebody throws an elbow in there on your quarterback. Last year, the Bears had 5 quarterbacks start various and sundry games for them.
Payton even took some snaps late in the season.
I'd hand it to anybody standing behind McMahon. No, they didn't make it.
So the Patriots hold, and they'll get the ball back when we come back to Soldier Field in Chicago with the Bears in the lead 10-0. Honey Bear looks to the skies. The Chicago Bears, though, just looked to a yard on fourth down and couldn't get it on a quarterback keep. And so the Patriots take over the ball, but again, deep in their own area. They've been shut out so far. It's 10-0 Bears in the third quarter. 7:49 to play in it. Hard run and a harder hit as Craig James takes it straight ahead. Had a big game against the Packers, running for 99 yards and 12 carries, averaged over 8 yards a rush.
Dan Hampton on the tackle there at goose egg on the scoreboard for the New England Patriots, something that the Bears fans are used to. This defense allowed 9 or less points in 8 of the 16 games that they played in 1984, and shut out the Tampa Bay Bucks last week in the second half.
Tony Collins trying to go wide. Otis Wilson runs with him, and so does Duerson. So it'll bring up third down now and about 4 for New England. Patriots haven't been close.
Watch Mike Singletary. He'll tackle anybody that comes close. Just get in my way, I'll throw you to the ground. He tackled the wrong guy, but I'm sure he left an impression.
So the Bear defense fired now. They want to stuff everybody they play, and last time on third and long, you remember, went to a draw, got yardage, do it again. Nothing there, though, as the ball carrier, Tony Collins, was chopped by his own man, had been taken down. So the Patriots will have to punt the ball, and they'll do it from around their end zone as 6:50 shows on the third quarter clock, and Singletary continues to be a force for the Bears.
He is an exceptional player, untouched. He just knocks the player back, Craig James, back into the running back, and Collins has got no place to go. 3 plays and out once again for the New England Patriots.
Camarillo will hit the ball at about his 3. Big rush. He gets it away and really unloads. Taylor, Taylor back at his 35, has room to return. He's out to the 48-yard line.
Taylor returns the punt.
52-yard punt and a 13-yard return by Ken Taylor. So the Bears, who got down close the last time but couldn't get points, now take over with 6:07 to play in the third quarter. 1st and 10 Chicago, and we come back. Tony Eason can't move the offense on the sidelines as the Bears have the ball back, and his counterpart Jim McMahon comes out with Chicago in the lead 10-0. 1st and 10 Bears. 48-yard line is Chicago. Long ball. Galt is out there. Willie Galt inside the 10-yard line.
He caught the ball over Ray Claiborne. It's a straight drop back pass by McMahon. Galt can't make the easy catch. He certainly can make the tough catch. 1st and 10 for the Chicago Bears.
That sure does something for your per catch average. Willie Galt came in. He caught 4 last week for 60 yards. That's his first of the day for 44. So now the Bears challenge as they finally go deep to their burner. Willie Galt, 1st and goal. Payton down to the 2-yard line.
They've just taken the heart out of this New England defense. Just been on the field so long that I think they realize now that the offense is going to have a very difficult time scoring. If they score at all, it's all on the shoulders of this New England defense, and it's a heavy load.
And we pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
You're watching Channel 17, WTVO Rockford.
This is Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy, Soldier Field in Chicago. The Bears lead the game 10-0. The Patriot defense being tested, but they held the last time. The Bears were down close and couldn't get points.
Don, the Chicago Bears have an injury. Jimbo Colbert went to the sideline. I don't think they had the right offense in there. McMahon takes the timeout. As the Chicago Bears are driving Tony Eason on the sideline, look at those stats. First time in his career he's thrown for 2 interceptions, and the Chicago Bears have totally frustrated the offense of the New England Patriots.
Going the other way, Trump, the yards have not come easy for Walter Payton with 11 carries for 39 yards. He's fumbled the ball once. Now the Bears looking to take command of this game if, in fact, they're not there already with a 10-0 lead, and the Patriots unable to challenge so far. Chicago goes 2nd and goal from the Patriot 2-yard line. Payton is a wing back left. Suey, Payton blocks. Matt Suey turns the corner and gets down to the 1-yard line.
That's a great tackle by Ray Claiborne to keep him out of the end zone. Outstanding tackle by Ray Claiborne. He allowed a couple of passes over him. Don Blackman, 55 there. You'll see this block. Yeah, he's an excellent blocker. Always has been. But Claiborne is the guy he's trying to block. You see 52 also chasing him out of bounds. Johnny Rimbert. That's a great tackle by Ray Claiborne. One of the great athletes in the league right there, Raymond Claiborne.
That New England defense, though, has been very formidable on the short yardage plays. Linebackers down in 3 points as they fill in the gaps, digging in. Suey, no signal.
Yeah.
And still no signal. The ball is down to the goal line, but apparently it's not over. Now they're going to unpile. The referee, Tom Dooley, stepping in. He didn't get there, though.
Hey, call a touchdown.
Now they call it a touchdown. 30 seconds after the play ended.
Tell you what, I think when you go in a pile like that, whether the referee is right or wrong, the signal should be immediate. Because wrestling underneath there's no way to know when you unstack.
That's a great look at it.
As to whether or not Matsui's in there. He gets hit early right there. I can't tell who made the contact. Good job by someone getting in there, but that's a tough call for the officials to make, but I just wish they'd make it quick.
Kevin Butler.
Now Kevin Butler's on the field looking to put up a 17th point for Chicago with 4:16 to play in the third quarter. A penalty marker before the snap of the ball.
Lineman moved in there. Going to move it back 5 yards. Try it again. Shouldn't bother Butler.
Now he's hit him
Ball
for 6.
score, 78 offense.
Keith Van Horn, the right tackle, was called for the early motion, and so now the ball is set back in the equivalent of a 25-yard field goal. Right there is Kevin Butler, the rookie from Georgia, as people start up after the kick. John Blackman, he's a full load to take on.
That's when you're glad you got a helmet on and a face mask. Very few fights in football cause any damage unless it's to the puncher. Broken mitt somewhere. 4 plays, 51 yards, a minute and 51 seconds. A touchdown by Suey, a 1-yard run set up by the 43-yard pass to Willie Galt. Once again, in all this humanity, the officials determined that Matt Suey is in the end zone. It looks like it.
More penalty markers thrown now, Trump, as there's post-fight aftermath results in maybe a personal foul call coming up.
Well, last week the Chicago Bears had 3 personal fouls called on their linebackers against the Tampa Bay Bucks. You made mention of that in the first half. There was a time a number of years ago when the Bears couldn't win. I was not really convinced that they wanted to win. If they drew blood on you, they were happy.
Even in bad years, they've been tough, huh?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You knew you'd play the Chicago Bears. At Cincinnati, we didn't play that often.
Sprinkle and Bill George and the boys years ago.
Throwing the helmet.
Andre Tippett threw his helmet. Rule number 1 when the fight starts, don't take your hat off.
Ever. Ever. And always run for the quarterback. He's never going to throw a punch.
Bears scoring drive, 4 plays, 51 yards. It took 1 minute.
So a 15-yard call against New England on the personal foul will result in the ball being kicked off by Butler from midfield.
As a result of the unsportsmanlike
Bears have now gone
against the
4
Patriots,
quarters and almost 11 minutes without allowing their opponents to score a point.
Easton has to come out throwing now, Bob, and the Bears are going to run it when they get it. And Easton has no option but to start putting the ball up on every down.
And that's exactly what the Bears like, because they'll continue with that pressure defense.
Down 17-0 with 4:16 to play in the third quarter.
Or do you still keep running it? I mean, New England Patriots right now are frustrated, but you don't want to just kill their attitude or their enthusiasm, but with a number of sacks.
George Dickens, Starring will bring it out. He's out to the 16-yard line where the Bears special teams covers well. Cliff led the way as Easton gets his final instructions. The Cardinals now leading Cincinnati 24-14. Houston and Washington having a tight game. And Dejas kicking field goals for the Oilers has brought them back to within 3. Wow. Detroit, this is unbelievable. Dallas Open routing the Redskins 44-14 Monday night, and today the underdog Lions are winning big, and so are the Jets. And a coaching change could be imminent at Buffalo depending on the outcome of that game. Standing back to throw is Eason. Out of the backfield, he goes to Tony Collins with good hands. He puts on the move and gets across the 20.
To Collins, complete. Pushed out of bounds by Otis Wilson.
Miami up on Indianapolis 16-7. That game is now in the third quarter play.
And I say this is a tough choice now for Raymond Berry. You don't want to air it out completely because the Patriots already frustrated. You certainly don't want Eason hurt. Patriots only have 2 quarterbacks on their roster, Eason and Steve Grogan. This guy's the quarterback of the future. You want to keep him healthy.
Eason lets it rip and gets his man. Derek Ramsey, the tight end, breaks into open field, and he's across the 35 and out to the 40. A big gainer for the Patriots, 19 yards, and now to Bob Costas.
Okay, Don, after first falling behind the Bengals 14-7 in the first half, the Cards come back to take the lead. Here's Lomax to Roy Green, a familiar combination. Beautiful fingertip catch by Roy, faster than a speeding bullet. Green. The Cards now lead by 10 in the third.
So the Bengals and Coach White off to a tough start. They were locked in a great game we saw last Sunday, Trump, at Cincinnati with Seattle. Seattle coming from behind to win. Singletary takes it down to the 16-yard line.
Eason's third interception.
Singletary having an all-pro day with 2 sacks and now an interception.
Now this is the chance you take now against a defense like this. You start throwing the ball up. You see the pressure once again. Hampton 99. Eason not set to throw it. Collins the intended receiver. Singletary right there to pick it off. 25 yards on the return. When was the last time the New England Patriots were shut out? It's looking that way right now.
1983 we're told.
Cleveland 30-0.
That's it.
Wow. It may happen again today.
The Bears, though, stop what looked like might be a New England drive, and now the Bears challenging again, leading 17-0 late in the third quarter. McMahon wants it quick, goes out, tight end gets it, Emery Moorhead, he's inside the 15-yard line. But Marion ran him out, but the Bears get closer with 3 minutes to play in the third quarter.
Now the Chicago Bears can certainly play conservative offense. They don't have to throw the ball down the field, although they probably still will. But boy, can you imagine Mike Ditka looking at the rest of this season with this defense without 2 starters, Bell and Harris, playing in the manner in which they have these opening 2 weeks of the season?
Just saw Mike Singletary, consensus all-pro now with Chicago. He was twice the most valuable player in the Southwest Conference, playing at Baylor. Handoff. Dennis Gentry is one tough customer. He's not big. He's another Baylor Bear. Played together with Singletary at Baylor.
Frustration now by the New England Patriots. Player never likes to get embarrassed. And 17-0. As much time as the defense has been on the field today for the New England Patriots.
Last week against the Packers, a pretty good football team. The New England Patriots led 26-6 with 6 minutes to go. Had some problems handling punts, though, fumbled a few, and the Packers got back in the game. New England winning 26-20. The Bears were down 28-17 to Tampa Bay at halftime last week and then rallied to win 38-28. Here at Soldier Field. Now on 3rd down and short, the Patriots are there to stop the run, and again it's 4th down and short yardage for
their defense has played exceptional football today.
Good football. The game clock winding down in the third quarter, 1:54 and running now, as the Bears send out their field goal unit.
Bears have made a couple of 3 pick plays. Catch by Reitman, the catch by Galt, the catch by McKinnon, and other than that, the New England Patriots defense has played very respectable football.
Kevin Butler is setting up now at his 18-yard line of New England, so it'll be a 28-yard field goal. Steve Fuller holds. Butler is on the money again with 1:22 to play in the third quarter. The Bears now go out in front 20-0 over New England. Coach Barry has to go to game plan B, and that's fire away. The National Football League continues next Sunday on NBC Sports. One of the big games of the day, the Cleveland Browns go against the Dallas Cowboys. Other regional games include Denver at Atlanta, Houston at Pittsburgh, San Diego at Cincinnati, New England at Buffalo here on NBC Sports. And in the late starting games, Kansas City plays at Miami and the Jets are at Green Bay. So check your local listings for the game and time in your area. The action gets underway with NFL 85. Your team plays here on NBC Sports. Raymond Berry, one of the greatest handed receivers that ever played the game. Unitas once said of him, the man could catch a BB in the dark.
This is his 10th game as the head coach of the New England Patriots. Coming into this ball game, his record as a head coach 5-4.
And across the way, Coach Ditka. Not looking like he's got a sure thing in his pocket, although the Bears will be almost impossible to beat now unless Eason can hit the big plays. Again, Starring runs back the kickoff. He's open. And he returns it nicely out across the 30-yard line. Sean Gale down on special teams for the Bears, and Eason and the Patriot offense come back out.
25 yards on the return by Starring. Raymond Berry, now the offensive coordinator and the head coach of the New England Patriots, scoring all Chicago.
4 plays, 9 yards.
Bears scored on their first possession, then their next 5, they had to either turn the ball over or had to punt it. Finally scored on a field goal before halftime. They led it to half 10-0. They've now doubled that to 20-0. Late in the third quarter. Easton throws and completes it to Derek Ramsey, who's out to the 41-yard line, close to a first down. Looks like he got about 9 on the play. Dave Dorson covering. Mets over Montreal, 5-1 in the 5th. Cubs and the Cardinals scoreless.
Look at the Blue Jays and the Yankees.
Who won that yesterday?
Toronto. 6-0 Toronto over New York.
They're up by 3.5 on the Yankees.
Throwing blitz. Nothing.
The Bears dominating on defense, led by their all-pro middle linebacker, Mike Singletary. Boy, there's been some great middle linebackers with this franchise. Bill George, Dick Butkus, and now Singletary.
And I tell you, I think if I were the New England Patriots, I'd burn this belt offensively. This is such a frustrating day, and I'm not sure it's the New England Patriots as much as it is the Chicago Bears defense. They're going to do this to a lot of football teams this year, did last year. You just got to put it out of your mind and go on. Patriots 2 of 10 in third down conversion so far.
And we'll be back after these messages from your local station. Third down and 4 now for New England. Eason, misconnection, and that'll happen because Dorson, a strong safety, again came on a blitz and nailed Tony Eason. Bears are going to go to another quarterback dump when they get the ball back right now. They've got Fuller warming up.
James never really looked back at the quarterback. He had no chance whatsoever. Look at the domination. 137 total yards of offense for the New England Patriots, and this is not a bad offensive team. Last week they had 410 yards.
James Manis is back deep, a rookie wide receiver from TCU. Manis comes up on the ball at his 19. Pays the price as he goes to the 25-yard line. Now back to NFL 85, Bob.
Don, Freeman McNeil is having a tornado fight. The Jets didn't appreciate it.
I still think Hank Fuller could be the coach of the Buffalo Bills by tomorrow morning. Their owner is very, very unhappy after they played very poorly in the preseason.
Huh? 2 games into the season and tomorrow morning?
They were winless in the preseason, were beaten by the Bears 47-14. It almost happened then. New running back in the game now, moving the ball for Chicago is Thomas Sanders, and he breaks it free all the way out to the 45-yard line.
Now, this is too bad. For the New England Patriots, 19 yards on the carry. The steam is out of this defense. The offense has not been able to generate anything for New England. Responsibility right on the shoulders of the New England defense, and keeping the Bears to 20 points is not really bad. They've only allowed a couple, 3 big plays, but
Donahue has kicked another field goal for the Cardinals. They lead the Bengals 27-17 late in the third quarter. McMahon calls his own number and heads for the 12th man, saved by the sideline. Ronnie Lippett in pursuit.
I had a hard time telling if that was accidentally or on purpose. I can't believe that. There's the defense of the
20-0 lead, and that defense snorting fire looking to hurt somebody.
Yeah, there's the offense of the New England Patriots, special teams players.
Ryan Ingram being taped up.
And a long day, Tony Franklin.
A lot of teams leave Soldier Field with long faces. We saw a great Denver team come in here last year and get blasted 24-0, and that was the score at the half.
Denver rebounded. New England must too.
That's what Barry was saying last night. You're going to get it handed to you a lot of days in this league. It's what you do when you have to come back.
That was a design rollout. Julius Adams and Toby Williams there to make the tackle. Excuse me, that was Toby Williams. That was a design rollout, trying to get the ball to Emery Moorhead, but Toby Williams right there to make the tackle.
43.
So the game clock shows 14:25 and running to play as the Chicago Bears at third down and about 12 coming up. Ball position at their 43-yard line. They opened the scoring on their first drive of the day when Jim McMahon hit Dennis McKinnon on the 32-yard scoring pass play. Then shortly before half, Butler kicked a field goal. It was 10-0. Suey got in from less than a yard out. They give the Bears a late third quarter lead, 17-0. That has since been extended on a Butler field goal to 20-0. That's how it stands now. McMahon hit full force, and Jim McMahon is down, but he's going to be up. Kenneth Sims coming hard.
Tell you, the Chicago Bears put Jim McMahon in an awful lot of jeopardy. They don't mind
Hard to
having
believe.
him rolled out.
Leading 20-0. They got a quarterback who's on the injury list. Played his first regular season game last Sunday since November 5th of last year. And they're throwing the ball with a 20-0 lead and letting the guy get a full hit from a 280-pound defensive lineman.
Sounds like you don't like that idea. Neither do I. And I'm sure McMahon doesn't either.
I know one thing. You're going to end up, the Bears could have a chance to go to the Super Bowl, I think, with this defense, but they're not going to get near it without McMahon.
I agree. Give it to Suey. Give it to Gentry. Give it to anybody but Jim McMahon.
They got no points at all against the 49ers. The playoff. Patriots will get the ball back now with 13:42 to play in the game. And we'll be back to Soldier Field in Chicago right after this. Steve Fuller, the man who quarterbacked the Bears in that NFC Championship game after Jim McMahon suffered the season-ending injury, is now in to direct the Chicago offense. Or will be very shortly. The Patriots right now have the ball first and 10. Fuller has been warming up. McMahon has been exposed to some big hits, even though the Bears are leading 20-0 on his scrambling the last time. He got the full force of Kenneth Sims, a 280-pound defensive end. Now Eason and the Patriot offense setting up. They'll have the ball first and 10 from their 31-yard line.
Sims, untouched. Third sack of the day. Totally untouched. Ran a game up front. Hampton had a hold of the offensive guard and tackle. That with great foot speed. Comes from the outside. They got the starters still in there. Watch again from the left-hand side of the screen. You see Dent goes all the way around the right guard. Brock gets caught up in the blocking scheme. Eason has no chance.
Singletary showing blitz. He does not. Eason gets a little time. But the Bear defense stops him again. Eason sees the end of the play from the ground where he's knocked down again. Now we're told that Jim McMahon has a neck injury and won't return to the game.
Well, I would hope so. Tell you what, though, the problem with having a head coach like Mike Ditka, who's a guy I really admire, he's one of the real gritty guys that played in the NFL. He didn't like these pansy quarterbacks saying, I got a stiff neck, I can't play, coach. He said, what? Get out there. I played with stiff necks, broken bones, bruised ribs, bad feet, old legs. Get out there and play.
Defense can only take you so far, though. McMahon is a tremendous winning quarterback. He is a winning player, not just a guy with big numbers.
Untouched.
Otis Wilson. Now Eason has become a tackling dummy as the New England pass offense is inept at blocking the blitzing Chicago Bears. Last year, the Patriots gave up 66 sacks. Only one team in the NFL gave up more. Atlanta gave up 67.
See, the problem is they don't change personnel, Chicago, when they go to this defense. So the offense never has anyone to really key on. The blitz will come from anywhere. There's fourth sack today. 6 now on the season.
Ditka is also a hard-line NFC man. And his whole career as a player and as a coach in the National Conference, and he wants to beat the American Conference as much as he can and as by as big a margin as he can. Great punt by Camarillo against an all-out rush. Manis takes it back to his 40. And the Patriots special teamers make the knockdown at the 42-yard line. 50-yard punt, just a 2-yard return.
He's been a bright spot for the Patriots.
So Camarillo goes off, and we'll be back after this. In his stint in the game, he threw 21 times, completed 13. You can see that's a very serious sore neck. They kept him in, kept him throwing, kept him running. Now they're paying a price.
232 yards, a touchdown, and an interception.
He got hurt running to throw with the Bears leading 20-0 in the fourth quarter. Bears go to the run, and Carey is out close to the 45-yard line. Two guys start up. There's going to be a foul call on Lippett and Marjoram. They were knocking on each other. As we check the baseball scoreboard, Mets continue to lead Montreal. Cardinals now moved in front of the Cubs 1-0. Toronto up on the Yankees 6-0. L.A. blowing away everybody in the West. And then, of course, next week,
Personal foul against New England.
NBC Sports continues its coverage of the '85 baseball season. Some of you will see the Yankees go into Baltimore to take on the Orioles. Others will watch the Expos play the Cardinals in St. Louis. Coverage begins at 1 o'clock Eastern time with Major League Baseball, an inside look. The tradition is here. The memories are waiting on the network of the 1985 League Championship Series.
John, the New England Patriots today have punted 9 times.
So the ball is down to the 40-yard line. The record for the Patriots in a single game is 11 punts. First and 10, Chicago with Steve Fuller at quarterback, and the Bears in the lead 20-0. Calvin Thomas. $240 pounds, and the big guy can run.
Ronnie Lippett on the tackle. They're just blowing away an excellent defense, which is tragic to watch. So much of this game is spirit, enthusiasm. When your offense can't generate any yards or points, 27-20 now. Cincinnati coming back on St. Louis. Tim reached a 47-yard field goal in the fourth quarter.
A lot of time to play, 13-20 in that game. Cardinals up by 7. That time Calvin Thomas on a first down carry got only to the line of scrimmage. Kenneth Sims, 77, threw off the blocker and hit him. Big Kenneth Sims, who was the #1 player picked in the NFL the year he came out of Texas. Now in his 4th year, and as Bucko Kilroy, the Patriots front office, says there's no more excuses for Kenneth Sims. This is the year he has to start to show some, and he did. He had his best game ever last Sunday.
2 of those first picks in the draft played for the New England Patriots. Pryor and Sims.
Thomas Sanders on a 2nd down and 10 carry gets to about the 30-yard line. That'll bring up 3rd down and 10 for Chicago.
Got an interesting matchup here. Ken Marjoram and Ronnie Lippett are really going at each other at the near side of the field. Oh, look at that. This is a team, the Patriots last year were an excellent running football team, and last week had 208 yards rushing.
And just as impressively allowed only 59 to the Packers. So the Bears, you might be looking at a definite contender for the Super Bowl in New Orleans, which you'll see on NBC Sports in January. The Bears seem to have the pieces together. Here's a stick, though, on a blitz by Don Blackman. And Fuller, who was shaken up often last year, is helped from the turf, but he'll stay in the game. And now the Bears will have to punt the ball. Maury Buford comes back out. New England will get the ball with 9:48 to play, the clock running, and the Patriots trailing 20-0. They have never in this game been even remotely close to scoring points. They were across midfield once in the first half. They got to the 49. The next play they were penalized and went back.
They were sacked. Not penalized, sacked.
That's happened, what, 3 times, 3 sacks. Singletary has 2 4 sacks at the count now. End over and punt by Buford. Fryer fields it at his 10, fair catching the ball. Gentry and Lippett are changing pushes again. A 30-yard punt. The Patriot offense comes out.
At the 10.
Had pop gun power so far today. We'll see if they can generate something down the stretch.
31 yards.
Back at Soldier Field in Chicago, the bad news for Patriot fans is New England's losing to these powerful Bears 20-0. The good news, Trump, is the Patriots go to Buffalo next week.
Yeah, Raymond Berry talked to us last night about how his team responds to winning and to losing. I don't think he expected to be beaten by this amount, but he is going to find out exactly how his team responds to losing after this performance.
Easton still in the game, still pitching, lofts one downfield. There's a man open. This could go the distance. James is on the run. This is going to be a touchdown for the Patriots. 90 yards, and the Patriots are in the end zone. James beat the linebacker, and Tony Eason, standing in against an all-out rush, throws a perfect ball. So the Patriots finally explode and get on the board a 90-yard pass play.
To the most unlikely of receivers. Now, James has got good speed, but it doesn't come close to the speed of Stanley Morgan, Stephen Starring, Cedric Jones. From the shotgun, not a lot of pressure on Eason this time. Well, he does get rocked, though, just as he throws it. This is a great catch. You see Wilbur Marshall. I'm surprised that James can outrun Wilbur Marshall. Marshall's supposed to have like 4.6 speed, maybe. James has 4.5. Big play.
It's the longest touchdown pass play in the history of the Patriots. Previous longest was 87 yards.
And the first time the Bears have allowed a touchdown in the last 6 quarters.
Tony Franklin makes a rare appearance this afternoon, hits the point after. Took 12 seconds for Eason to take his drop and unload, and for Craig James to get into the end zone.
Look at the big Band-Aid Craig James has on his chin. I wonder if he got that today. Well,
Great looking play.
That's got to make New England feel a little better. This is a tough throw by Eason because the receiver is going straight away from him, and a very difficult catch made by Craig James. That's right on the money.
Made that move away from Wilbur Marshall, and in he goes. Williams finally knocks Singletary off the play. The completion of a 90-yard touchdown pass play from Tony Eason to Greg James, the longest in Patriot history.
Do you go for an onside kick here if you're the New England Patriots?
Yeah, I think you do.
They're certainly not going to give up, that's for sure. In a game that's been so totally dominated by the Chicago Bears, they can retain some respectability here.
Scoreboard clicking away now as you see how things stand. Washington and Houston still a field goal separate.
That's astounding.
Look at this.
Wow.
Jets now blowing away Buffalo 35-3. Up to the Patriots see next week. The Bills. Rams up on Philadelphia now 17-6. Miami holding to a surprisingly small lead over a big underdog Indianapolis. That came in the fourth quarter. Tony Franklin ready to kick off now for New England.
Our deep for the Bears.
High kick. Gentry, 4-yard line. And the Bears go on offense from their 18-yard line. Ron McSwain was down to make the hit. Football action continues next Sunday on NBC. The Browns and the Cowboys meet at Irving, Texas. The Cowboys will be in ill humor here, Trump, after they're getting not only upset but blown out 26-0 by Detroit. Other regional games and some good matchups include San Diego at Cincinnati. Denver goes against Atlanta in the late games, Kansas City at Miami, and the Jets play the Packers at Green Bay. Steve Fuller taking a drop. Running and very well. He gets out to the 27-yard line. Got ahead for a gain of about 5 or 6 yards.
Johnny Rembert on the tackle. New rule in the NFL for quarterbacks running like that. If they attempt a hook slide, they are down at that point. You're not supposed to be able to hit them. Just to protect the quarterback a little bit.
panorama of Soldier Field in Chicago. Well, they've had some great games here. Biggest crowd they ever had here, 1927. Notre Dame played Southern California. 123,000 at Soldier Field.
But the stadium has changed a great deal. It can't accommodate 123,000 now, right?
40,000 couldn't see the game. They were just happy to be here.
There's a little section to the, what way is that? North? Yeah, to the north end zone that looks like a bull ring where they enclose Soldier Field. And that's where the Chicago Bears used to work out. Yeah, to that end, the other end. And it looks like a little bull ring in there.
They once had 105,000 here to see a high school championship game because there was such a spectacular player in it.
Who?
Someone who never went on to pro football that I know of. He played at Northwestern, Bill DeCoravant. But in high school, he used to run for touchdowns about every third carry. End off, up the middle. Not much, but something, and most importantly from a Chicago standpoint, the Bears are making the clock tick. 7:13 running, the Bears in the lead, 20-7, but the Patriots are going to get it back now.
On a touchdown pass from Eason to Craig James, the longest pass in the history of Soldier Field.
That goes back in 1919.
Not only a Patriot record, but a Soldier Field record.
Soldier Field was quite an enterprise when they put this thing together. It's built on piling, dropped 65 feet into Lake Michigan.
This is the oldest stadium in the NFL, isn't it?
I think it has to be. So at any moment, Trump, you could be in Lake Michigan.
No. I would think Lambeau Field in Green Bay is probably the only field that has a chance to even be close. And of course, for years, the Chicago Bears played in Wrigley Field.
Long in tradition also, the LA Coliseum from 1931, second oldest. Here comes Irving Fryer. Irving came in with the big reputation, got the big bucks, but he's yet to do it for the New England Patriots.
51 yards on the punt, 11 yards on the return.
42-yard punt.
Here's the way the rest of the schedule looks for these two ball clubs.
Patriots go to Buffalo, then go home to play the Raiders. Bears with tough scheduling have to play at Minnesota on Thursday night, and then they go against the Redskins here at Soldier Field. Tony Eason, whose last throw is good for a 90-yard touchdown pass play, throws another big strike, a 17-yard gain out to the 49-yard line. Cedric Jones caught it.
Patriots going with a hurry-up offense now. Bears are playing the prevent, figuring the clock is on their side, even though their lead is now just 13 points.
At time, leading Derek Ramsey. Easton was a little long, so it's incomplete with 5:41 to play in the game. St. Louis now opens up a 14-point advantage on the Bengals as Stump Mitchell got in a 1-yard run.
Cardinals have some offensive weapons. They get Anderson, Roy Green, Tilley, Stump Mitchell. Neil Lomax is now kicking the ball particularly well. They got a great defense, and man, have they got some offensive weapons.
They got some great pass rushers. That new guy, Freddie Joe Nunn, Curtis Greer, had about 17 sacks last year.
Long day for Raymond Berry.
Second down and 10 for Eason. Blitz it is. Tony Eason goes down hard. Sacked for a 5th time.
Steve McMichael once again games up front. That time at least McMichael was blocked. It wasn't a free shot at Eason. You can see all the movement up there. It's very hard for a line that really hasn't been together a great deal. With John Hanna hurt, Haley hurt. Tough team to play when your offensive line is not healthy. Someone said that if you took a team picture of the New England Patriots, it'd turn out to be an X-ray.
It's been a tough start. And of course, one of the future Hall of Famers not here, and it really hurts, and that's John Hanna.
Yeah, the Hog. He's got a pulled calf muscle. Appears to be a pretty serious injury. He would help in that offensive line.
Easton's been sacked 5 times, losses of 44 yards in the 5 sacks. Raymond Berry staying with him. Berry was so interested in improving Eason's performance. One of the problems with all the sacks last year, they had him backpedaling when he was dropping to throw, and they wanted to see the whole field, but he was slow getting back. Berry and Eason came all the way back to Champaign and looked at game films at the University of Illinois, where he set those 7 NCAA passing records. So he was just a much more effective quarterback taking across that drop.
The other thing is, under Ron Meyer, the New England Patriots did not use the shotgun. Tony Eason likes the shotgun, so Raymond Berry put it in. Patriots 2 of 12 in third down conversions today. Right now they face about 3rd and 16, 3rd and 15.
We'll be going to NFL 85 for the complete story on Sunday number 2 of the 85 season. The Chicago Bears off to an impressive start. Winners over Tampa Bay a week ago. They now lead New England 20-7 with 5:36 to play under Coach Ditka.
Not too soon for the New England Patriots do we get to that NFL 85 show.
Patriots will be on the road again next week at Buffalo. Chicago on the road Thursday night to play the Vikings.
Going blitz.
4-man rush. Easton stands in. Throwing on the run. Tony Eason is knocked down hard. Steve McMichael got him as he released the ball. Bears with the lead, but taking no prisoners.
He's been getting up off that turf a lot today.
10th punt, one from the Patriot team record.
Camarillo has kicked the ball particularly well, but this poor offense just not healthy enough to compete with this ferocious Chicago Bear defense.
Camarillo to punt.
Right here where the Bears have been a great part of the NFL for so many years, a famous football address on the shores of Lake Michigan. And the Bears have defense now to go with Walter Payton and Jim McMahon, and they believe they can go the distance this season as they're opening up with a 2-0 lead. 2-0 record, 2-0 if they come out of this, and it looks like they will. Here is the punt downfield, hitting the ball is Camarillo. Dewerson is back with a penalty marker down. Dave Dewerson gets out to the 22-yard line, 46-yard punt and a 9-yard return.
This could go either way. Chicago Bear defensive lineman jumped offsides, but then offsides. Whoops, wait a minute, he's going to ask again.
Offside is signaled against the Bears.
The 5 yards will not help.
So at 5:15 to play, the Patriots now, let's see, they're going to punt it again. Apparently they are. Camarillo's coming back out. Not one of the more exciting moments in the game with 44 guys milling around wondering what the next play is.
Receiving team, penalty is declined, first down.
I'll look at the scoreboard as they come in. The Jets now leading Buffalo 42-3. So it appears the Bills, who won 2 games a year ago, have again run up the white flag.
You're saying it's a possibility that Hank Bulla, who's a defensive coordinator, may take over for Kay Stevenson quickly,
yes.
soon. Miami back with a vengeance over Indianapolis, now 30-7.
You get beat 42-3, you quit.
It's quick.
Well, you quit.
Oh, you quit.
I would think when you consider what the Jets did their opening game, they lost 31-0, the Jets did.
Come on now, let's move it, move it.
First down and 10 now for Chicago. Bears will be running the ball and trying to run the clock. Second back through. Coming out is Tom Sanders, a rookie from Texas A&M. Now let's go to Bob Costas in New York.
All right, Don, on this play, the Cardinals shotgun blows some holes in the Cincinnati defense. A 42-yard catch and run. Neil Lomax to stump Mitchell. Moments later, the drive continuing. Mitchell scored from the 1. Cards lead 34-20, 9.5 minutes left.
And here at Soldier Field, it is Chicago 20, New England 7. The Bears led 10-0 at the half, extended at the 20-0. Then the Patriots finally hit a big play when Tony Eason dropped back, hit Craig James over the middle out of the backfield, and he was on a 90-yard foot race to the end zone. A 90-yard touchdown pass play, the longest in Patriot history, averted a shutout. With 4:34 left to play, Fuller has called a timeout for Chicago. and has gone over the sideline to talk to Mike Ditka.
You picked the Chicago Bears, obviously, in the NFC Central. No question about it.
I don't. Detroit might have something.
Well, today it looks like they have something. Darryl Rogers and an awesome beginning to this 1985 football season, but with this defense, this team has got to be considered one of the...
I think the Bears can beat anybody if they keep McMahon in.
If they can generate today, they haven't really done a great job offensively. They've come up with 3 or 4 big plays, but this is the most stifling defense I can think of in the NFL. There's only one team that really had a chance or did a good job against the Bears, and that was the Super Bowl champion 49ers. Still 6-0 Toronto over New York in the 5th. Mets lead Montreal 5-2 in the 8th. Cardinals up on Chicago 1-0. Those 3 races close. Yankees could be 4.5 back. St. Louis and the Mets, if it stays the same, score-wise will remain the same.
Raymond Berry. A long afternoon that every head coach has to go through. Not over yet, though, and they did hit the big play with 4:34 left to play in the game. Chicago has the ball now, 2nd down and 10. Calvin Thomas is the F-back. He could get it right here. Calvin Thomas runs the ball, and the big fullback takes it to the 25. Gain of only 3 yards, though, on the play. It'll bring up 3rd down and 7 as Dennis Owens, a middle guard, nose tackle for the Patriots, made the stop.
You can't compliment this New England defense enough. They're still working at it. Owens there on the center, trying to do the best they possibly can.
Hold the ball.
Game clock down to 4:05 to play as the Bears break the huddle on a sunshiny day in Chicago. When the weather gets tougher here in the Windy City, so do the Bears, and that wind starts to sweep in off Lake Michigan. The defense hurts all the more. Running now, coming ahead with the ball is Tom Sanders, the rookie back, getting some time as Nelson makes the knockdown. Patriots now signal for a timeout with 3:44 to play. Chicago will have to punt the ball back.
Got an injury to an offensive lineman of the Chicago Bears, Mark Bortz. He seems to be all right.
Player they're very pleased with, a 3rd-year player out of Iowa, free agent.
Was a college defensive lineman. After the fashion of the Dallas Cowboys, they converted him to an offensive lineman.
3:44 left to play, so Eason and the Patriot offense gets another crack at it as they now get set to receive a Chicago punt with 4th down and 4 coming up.
The only time the New England Patriots have crossed midfield is the touchdown on Craig James. Is that correct?
I think, other than that one time they were at the 49 of the Bears and then got sacked in the first half.
That's amazing. Dallas gets on the board now.
It looks like it might be too little too late, although there's a long time. Look at this, interesting. They got Hogaboom in the game now. He threw to Tony Hill.
Danny White out, huh? Well, what would Dallas be without a quarterback controversy? Although after their performance against Washington last Monday night, I didn't think anybody come close to Dallas.
Maybe they didn't think that either and took a week Sunday off, thinking they could blow out the Lions. Not too well hit by Buford. He's tough to handle as Pryor goes across. Now he has to let the ball roll, and it goes down to the 32-yard line of New England, and the Patriot offense comes back out one more time. 40-yard punt as Tony Eason comes out. A man who's been victimized 5 times, being sacked, but he still has a spring in his step as he runs out.
5 sacks, 3 interceptions thrown by Tony Eason. First time in his career he's thrown for more than 1 in a game.
NFL 85 with the story of week 2. Coming up as soon as the game is over. 3:33 to play, and the Bears in the lead 20-7. Here's Eason from the shotgun on 1st down.
Blitz. Marshall untouched.
Wilbur Marshall gets Tony Eason all the way back at the 15-yard line.
Look at Eason. Well, he's getting up slower and slower and slower. The Bears run so many games up front. Watch the center, 58. He just can't quite get out there on Marshall, and Marshall is by him.
And 22 from the 20.
Pete Brock has just had his head on a swivel today trying to pick up all these blitzers. I'm not sure you can put it totally on his shoulders.
Second down and 22 now.
Somebody help him out here.
It's incomplete. Buddy Ryan was over there making sure the defensive coordinator for the Bears. Buddy doesn't flatter guys on his team that don't do well. Perry came in, he said, here's a draft mistake. Instead of his cornerbacks last year, we got the 2 worst cornerbacks in the NFL.
And all they do is play in the NFC Championship game. I imagine Ed Huddle is pretty quiet.
Buddy can't knock William too much for his weight, so Buddy's trained up a little over the years. Eason lets her rip. Incomplete at the 25-yard line. A long out. Now we pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
You're watching Channel 17, WTVO Rockford.
We're back at sold-out Soldier Field in Chicago. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. 2:57 left to play in the game. Raymond Berry's New England Patriots are trailing the Bears 20-7. They were down 20-0 much of this game. Then hit in a long play, but Eason, the young quarterback from Illinois, who has been sacked a number of times, comes off the field, unable to move the team on that set of downs.
Raymond Berry, a good psychologist. He's going to have a real job with Tony Eason now, trying to build him up for the rest of this season.
Camarillo unloads again, and Dorson takes it at his 28. And Dorson is knocked down at the 37-yard line, where Chicago goes on offense, 1st and 10. 52-yard punt as he ties the team record for number of punts in a game. And another penalty marker's down, might have been on the kick return.
However, there is a flag on the play.
Referee Tom Dooley is ready to speak. And he says, holding. Legal use of hands against Chicago. The Rams beat the Eagles 17-6 at Veterans Stadium. So the Rams jump off to a 2-0 start in the NFC West, and the Eagles are 0-2.
A final score.
Look at there. Raymond Berry, Tony Eason. Tough day for New England. Tough day for... Tough day for a young man who is going to have a very, very bright future in the NFL. Has already performed very admirably in that class of great quarterbacks that came out in 1983. All of them, 6 taken, 5 of the 6 in the AFC East. Eason would rather forget this day. This is his first return to Illinois. He was a real hero for the University of Illinois. An awful lot of Illini fans up here. Oh, yeah.
He is an excellent player. This guy's going to be one of the stars in the league. He was the 3rd player picked in that quarterback draft of '83.
Elway was first.
Todd Blackledge, who doesn't get a down in with Kansas City, was 2nd.
Marino was last.
Yep. And Jim Kelly was picked after Eason. Marino was last.
Raymond Berry just got to wipe this game out of his team's mind and go on from here. They got 14 left. Do the best they possibly can.
There was a questionable call in Washington a bit ago in a very tight game, and we're going to see it in just a moment. Calvin Thomas turns the corner and gets to midfield. Now let's go to NFL 85 and Bob Costas.
Marshall said no. 16-13 Skins.
They're still playing though, I guess.
They are still playing. There's a face mask on that. Almost a face mask on that last play.
Bears set it up now, 2nd down and 5. They lead the game 20-7, 2:37 to play. Fuller's going to air it out, and he does. Sanders.
Fuller and Sanders incomplete.
These are those Marv Thornberry hands.
From the Bears.
Look at those yards, 366 to 205, and the Bears once again kept their opponents under 300 total yards of offense.
This game at this point, not exactly a number that has people on the edge of their seat.
That was Steve Fuller's first pass of the 1985 season, incomplete. I tell you what, we haven't said many kind things about the New England Patriots except their defense. I have a feeling the Patriots are going to be an excellent football team this year because of the same reason the Bears are going to be excellent. Good defense, solid defense.
Fuller trying to throw with a 20-7 lead and 2:25 to play is swept under. Toby Williams was the man who got there first.
Fuller.
Second sack of the day for the Patriot defense.
They've not quit that New England Patriot defense. Trying to keep the ball club in the game as best they possibly could.
A loss of 8.
But eventually you're going to get tired out there.
4th and 12 for the Bears. From their own 41.
The Cubs and the Cardinals now tied up at Wrigley Field, 1-1 in the 5th inning.
Cincinnati's come back on L.A. 6-6 in the 6th inning.
Cincinnati's got to come back every game the rest of the season to get close in the West.
Well, they don't mind. They got the best record in the major leagues in one-run ball games and extra inning ball games.
We're down to 2 minutes to play now as the 4th quarter clock winds down, and we'll be back at Soldier Field after this. Don Crickey with Bob Crumpy back at Soldier Field in Chicago as the Bears continue to lead the Patriots 20-7 now with 2 minutes to play. The Patriots will get the ball back. They have virtually no offense excepting that one big play when Eason hit Craig James for a 90-yard touchdown pass. Pass and run, the longest in Patriot history. Fryer fumbles the ball, and Chicago has it. Reggie Phillips comes down and recovers.
Fryer
Trying to make a big play for his team, Don. Punt returners are told to catch that ball on the fly. Don't let it hit the ground. The ball was off the side of Maury Buford's foot. Just couldn't quite get over to it. Recovery. That's the way the day has gone.
So the Bears have the ball at the 23-yard line of the Patriots with 1:51 to go.
The New England Patriot defense is slowed to a walk. They've been out there a lot in this second half.
Let's see what the Bears do. They'd like to get all they can. They have a 13-point lead with 1:51 to go. Straight ahead run. Gary downfield. Good for about 3 yards as Thomas Sanders ran the ball, and Kenneth Sims knocked him down. Bears now huddling at their leisure. Walter Payton has not played in a long time. That's a bruised rib.
It's unusual for the Chicago Bears to win a football game in which Walter Payton doesn't run the ball 20 times.
Amazing athlete.
He almost had the total day off, didn't he? Didn't need him today.
He will be heard from, though. Walter Payton had his second-best year in his career last season, rushing for over 1,600 yards. Carried the ball more times than he ever had in one season. His 10th year in the league. Sanders looking for some place to go, and he's finally knocked down. Johnny Rembert caught him. Steve Nelson took a shot at him, but there was no penalty marker.
They stopped the clock. Get everybody back in the huddle. That's the best way to stop a fight. Just have them huddle up.
Patriot defense sure hasn't quit. Watching Nelson with that right arm.
Trying to leave an impression. They lost on the scoreboard.
Now there's a timeout with 52 seconds left to play. Bears have the ball, and Chicago leads 20-7.
New England Patriots have had 15 drives today. This is the way each drive has ended. In the first half, 5 punts and 2 interceptions. In the second half, 6 punts, an interception, and a touchdown.
Right now, the Bears are looking to run out the game, sending Tom Sanders wide right. He crashes down inside and gets inside the 15-yard line. Roland James takes the ball back. Patriots are ready to go at all times. This defense is a good one, and it's very unhappy about the turn of events in this game as New England trails 20-7 with 32 seconds to play. Miami, 30-13 victor over Indianapolis.
Clock running mercifully for the New England Patriots. Last play of the game. Bears 2-0. Patriots 1-1.
That'll do it from Chicago, where the Bears look mighty and extending their record to 2-0 on the season. The Patriots go back to New England 1-1 on the year and heading to Buffalo as Coach Ditka and Coach Berry shake hands at midfield. They were together in the Dallas organization for a couple of years.
If someone in the New England Patriot organization between now and when they get back to New England could lose this film, I'd give him a game ball.
So that will do it from Soldier Field in Chicago. We're going to take a look now at the scoreboard as the National Football League's second Sunday of play was a dominant one for Chicago, keyed by great defensive play. There is Jim McMahon being congratulated. That's a Patriot there, Don Rogers, I think.
Don, through the first 2 games of the 1985 season, the Bears have accomplished what Mike Ditka wanted his team to accomplish, and that was to take some of the pressure off of Walter Payton, spread it around, and just allow the defense to play as best they possibly could. Today, the performance by the Chicago Bear offense and defense, the offense was not spectacular. It was functional with about 3 or 4 big plays all day long. It was totally the Chicago Bear defense, just stifling, absolutely stifling the New England Patriots.
The way the scoring went today for the Chicago Bears, they opened up on their first drive early in the game on a 32-yard touchdown pass. McMahon hit McKinnon on a beautiful play. Then Chicago scored before halftime on a Butler field goal. Suey added a 1-yard touchdown run in the third quarter. Butler hit another field goal at the end of 3 quarters. It was 20-0 Chicago. Then New England came back on the longest touchdown pass play in the history of the franchise. A 90-yarder. He sent to Greg James. It was 20-7, and that's how it ended. Final score has just come in from the nation's capital. Washington has defeated Houston 16-13. So that controversial play you saw earlier from NFL 85 might turn out to be a very big one. Right now, though, for Bob Coffey, this is Don Cricky. Glad you could be with us at Soldier Field in Chicago as the Bears rev up and get set to head to Minneapolis for a Thursday night game against another rival from the NFC Central, their first of the season, the Minnesota Vikings.